I'll wait till he writes it down. I'm gonna wait. Cool. All right, everybody, welcome. This is Path of Exile episode 47 with really awesome download speeds.
That's the new title.
Please hold internet.
Apologize for that. If it lagged at all during the show, sorry, the internet's is acting up right now. Normally we don't have this problem, so I apologize in advance. Today's special guest is Pohx. I guess he's special. He used to be a host. He's also my roommate, so...
Yep, that's very true. So what's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
I mean,
How could you even call into question the specialness of Pohx? He's very special in our hearts. Welcome back, Pohx.
I could smell the bagel he cooked this morning. I'm just saying, the house smells like bagels.
That's not me. that's our other roommate.
Well, fair enough. Anyways, today's episode, we got a lot of cool things to talk about. We're going to be discussing 7 Ascendancy classes in specific, the ones they've released more recently. In specific, let's see, we got the Berserker, Hierophant, Guardian, Elementalist, Occultist, Trickster, and Pathfinder. Bam! Got it. And we're going to be discussing the new Golem as well. I believe it's the Stone Golem, they call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
just...
just...
other skills released? Or was it just Stone Golem since Ellen's podcast?
Stone Golem.
Stone Golem. Okay.
Not too much. There's I mean, we could talk about Golems in particular as a whole, and then the Stone Golem in specific. So we'll see how that goes. But let's kick this thing off. What has everyone been up to? You know, other games you've been playing, or Path of Exile? What have you been doing, Ziggy?
Yeah, I've been playing Grim Dawn mostly since the last podcast. It's content complete now. It's another action RPG, an indie one from some of the creators of Titan Quest, kind of a spiritual successor to that game. But it's pretty cool. It started out kind of like being, I don't know, somewhere between Diablo 3 and Path of Exile on like the complexity scale. But since then, they've added so much to the game that now it's starting to like rival PoE for complexity in some ways. Like the gearing and stuff is really in depth, and the passive skill tree they have now is kind of like reminiscent of PoE. You open it and there's like a massive passive skill tree and stuff. So it's a pretty cool game. To me, it seems like a pretty nice off-season game to play for Path of Exile, like a companion title.
So despite
downtimes,
I know you and Pohx have been both playing this. Would you still say Path of Exile is still your main squeeze? And Grim Dawn is just a side.
Path of Exile, I am still confident in saying, is the best action RPG of all time. And I include Diablo 2 in that, to the contention of some.
Wow. I mean, that's saying something. How about you, Pohx? What have you been up to?
Same thing with Grim Dawn. I've been going pretty crazy, and I'm about to hit a max level character. But I want to say one really cool thing about Grim Dawn is that you can play it offline mode. So that's one really big advantage you can have if you're out or something, or if you're flying. You have your game right there on your laptop, but it does offer. It's got a multi-class system, and on top of multi-classing, you have the ability to like dual wield as well. And certain equipments like legendaries and stuff will give you passives from other classes, and it's almost like tri-classing at that point. And then you have your expansive devotion system, which is like a third class, which would be like a fourth class in that scenario. So it's really cool, like how much you do, or how much you have. And then you have 10 resistance bases, and then you have sub-resists. So PoE you have 4, 3 of them being elemental. Grim Dawn you got 10, and then you have sub-effects as well. And then you have crazy. Like a third category, which would be like durations. Like
this has been something I've been thinking about for Grim Dawn is the gearing is like way more, I would think, more complex than PoE's gear. Would you agree with that, Pohx?
Yes, because you have to rely on components. Yeah, because like, how far have you gotten in the game?
I defeated the normal difficulty.
Okay, so I think I'm about to be like mid-70s right now, high 70s. And when you get like super high up, everything needs to be like max resist. And you can actually get plus to max resist as well in the game. Certain legendaries you craft. Like, you saw the first legendary, how insane it was, what it gives you, right? It buffs to all skills, and
yeah,
it's pretty crazy. But yeah, it is more in depth, because like you said, you're looking for like, you're trying to cap out 10 stats. But you have to cap your stats, you have to cap it out from stats, then to your gear, and then to your devotion tree, and there's a lot of min-maxing involved in it.
So that was my question, though, is like, PoE already has pretty complex gearing. Grim Dawn's been pretty interesting for me because the gear's even more complex, and I guess because it gives me something new to learn. But I'm wondering if that's actually better, because there's a certain point where too much complexity is kind of overkill. And I'm wondering if PoE is the sweet spot, or if Grim Dawn is closer to it. What do you think?
I think that PoE hits it more the complexity just because in PoE you actually craft it from the ground up. In Grim Dawn it's more farming for set legendaries, and you're just putting on what's better for you, and then of course the components and everything else. But you're not physically like exalting a piece of gear in Grim Dawn.
Yeah, hard to go past that PoE crafting, eh?
Yeah, I think the crafting is really what puts PoE in that ridiculous complexity level, because, for example, a new player who knows nothing about the game and a returning player who knows how to craft will make like monumental steps and leads against ahead of him just in everything he wants to do if you know how to craft. This crafting can get you so far in Path of Exile.
Chat's blowing up because we're talking about a different game here.
I'm just letting you guys do your thing, because when I'm talking, it's going to be all PoE. So let's just do my segment.
This is my thoughts, right? We're action RPG enthusiasts, and I think
it's important to play them all.
A good discussion of PoE takes into context other games in the genre and the things that can be learned from it. And it's good to compare like the gearing in PoE to put it in context of gearing in as compared to other games. I think it's a useful thing to do. So.
I mean,
sorry if you guys can't handle
it's fine. It's fine. You guys have been playing another game. It's important to show your excitement, and you're naturally going to compare against Path of Exile, and that's fine. What I've been doing in Path of Exile, you guys are talking about crafting. I have two characters that I'm having a lot of fun with. My most recent, I finally hit level 91 first time ever in hardcore. Normally I hit 90 and I'll just retire the character, suicide the character in something ridiculously hard, intentionally trying to do it. Sometimes I complete it, or I just intentionally suicide, and you're dead, goodbye forever. So I finally hit level 91, and I'm almost 92 already on a CI Bladefall character. Oh no, Ziggy, your freaking camera's frozen. No! Yeah, you have this amazing inquisitive face on right now. It's pretty cool.
Perfect. I'm just like that.
Fine on my end.
Anyways, I'm playing a CI Bladefall character, and I've crafted like 70% of my gear through exalting, chaos spamming, even chancing a pair of Skyforths. And I have 18,000 energy shield currently on her, and I'm cruising. Like, even I can't die on this character, so...
What was it that got you to that next level? Because every time I've gotten, before all my classes were like, I was done at 85. Then it was like 86, 87 for some classes. Then I eventually got my 91 character as well, where I've never... Again, same as you, I've never really taken anyone past there, because I just can't be bothered. But what got you to that next point, I guess, to that next level?
I just got tired of only having 90s. Like, I had a 92 in Standard League, but you can all say what you want about Standard League. It's like the accomplishing adrenaline rush feeling, and despite how annoying it is to level past 90, it was just something I needed to do. Like, I've been playing this game for 2 years, 3 years almost. Like, I've been streaming for 2 years. It's about time I get past level 90. So it's just like one of those, let's just do this. And it wasn't too bad. It's just a lot of time. Like, I do the stupidest things on that character. Like, She Corpse exploded the corpse of the boss in a level 78 Springs map. I took 13k hit, and I still had half of my ES left because I have 26k ES with Val Discipline up. Just doing stupid stuff that you normally can't do in the game. And it's just fun, like tanking all bearers, frost bears and whatnot. It's silly. And then the other character, which you saw earlier today, I've been playing the... everyone likes to name their characters, so this character I thought I would name very specifically as an homage to all of my favorite Path of Exile players. It's the Fireflower, Buzzsaw, Fakener, Lawn Mowing, Mjolnir, Whirling Blades with a Staff, High Tooltip, it's very viable Totem Templar. And he's doing pretty good. There's abbreviations for that's been going around on the internet. It's a pretty hard abbreviation to get down, but that character has been cruising just fine. And what I did was I took Sire of Shards, Rain of Splinters, threw on Magma Orb, and I have 7 Proj Totems, 2 of them, 14 Proj total, and it looks like a little fire flower, a little volcano explosion. And so it's actually high clear speed.
There's 2 ways of making Magma Orb worth playing, it seems. Either having 14 totems or converting it to poison and then poison prolifing. 14 projectiles or poison prolif. Seems like it.
Good build.
Those are the Magma brothers.
Oh, people want me to repeat that. It's the Fireflower, Buzzsaw, Fakener, Lawn Mowing, Mjolnir, Whirling Blades with a Staff, High Tooltip, it's very viable Totem Templar. Anyways.
No, cock and janitor and...
No,
missing a few.
I couldn't fit anything else in the title on Twitch, so that's what I was stuck with. I had to include Whirling Blades. It's meta,
build name.
The cool thing about the build is you can actually make a lot of projectiles that have really bad mechanics right now. because of the shotgunning change, completely viable. Like Freezing Pulse, Ice Spear. Ball Lightning's still good, but you could throw Ball Lightning in this scenario, and it's completely viable, high clear speed, super fun. You know, like the biggest problem with Freezing Pulse, for example, is you have to always have the cursor aimed at your feet to spread out the wave. And now you have 7 that are automatically spread out into Nova. So maybe the Nova support gem is the fix. If they ever release a Nova support gem, would be the fix to Freezing Pulse, Ice Spear, all these clunky skills that had a big damage overhaul, but the mechanics never changed.
Could be. I don't know. It'd be cool to see it actually. Nova would be really interesting for a lot of skills.
It would kind of like make Sire of Shards less useful. Sire of Shards already does have very much damage on it, but you do get a free GMP, so you don't get the negative multiplier.
Yeah, I actually would like to see it because the synergy, like you said, there's some skills that just can't scale with. Like, it's very difficult. Like Freeze Pulse. You could slap an LMP or a GMP, but it's just adding another one. It's not actually increasing anything. And something else like... I don't know what else comes. I guess Ball Lightning is one. Like you can increase the AOE, but it's still like it's only going to increase it so much.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Nova is only really viable with totems though? Like it seems like self-cast Nova is not really worth playing.
Traps would be very good too.
Traps, that's true. But self-cast, it seems like you only really ever want to be casting at things in one direction anyway. I feel like.
Yeah, when you're self-casting, for sure. Rarely would you put yourself in a position where you're in the middle of everything, and totems and traps, you want them in the middle of everything.
It's wasted half the time.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, something like Shock Nova, realistically, like I know its intended use is to be an AoE, but when you start clearing a map, you're using it only to hit mobs on one side of a ring. You're typically not forcing yourself to be surrounded by it. So... I mean, in a sense, it does have a use. If you have enough damage, it doesn't really matter. You'd be able to shoot behind you. But yeah, for the most part, I don't think it really brings too much use to self-casting just for that same purpose.
I see your point. I wonder if they would release a Nova support gem. Because like right now we also have Projectiles Return from a Torah enchant, which is like rarely used. And it'd be cool if that was actually a support gem, because then maybe we could see some more interesting things with it, rather than an item level 59 bow. So I would like to see some more things like that. Or maybe function with Pierce, because if Pierce Projectiles Return, it's almost like Guided Arrow from D2 all over again without the infinite
Projectiles
Pierce.
Return was the biggest disappointment ever. I remember when we first saw like the teaser of that, and I was like,
yeah.
But biggest disappointment. You just can't use it, man.
You can't use it with any... The problem is Pierce and Chain and Fork and all that are locked. Once you have that, Projectiles Return's the last thing it checks against.
I wanted it to be like you hit a wall and the projectiles return. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be pierced through and then the projectiles hit a wall and then come back. That'd have been sick. Or like get to a maximum range then come back. That'd have been amazing.
Yeah, like could you imagine like Freezing Pulse with that? You like shoot a wave up, then it comes back. So it's like your position, you can actually stand far away with Freezing Pulse, because when it comes back, it'll have that sort of point blank effect again. Yeah,
that'd be sick. That'd be like a whole new skill. Now I want a boomerang skill. Oh,
yeah,
they need to put boomerangs in there.
Yep.
Pretty sure New Zealand has boomerangs too. I think they can work in some boomerang skill action for sure.
So that's what I've been up to. I'm surprised that Magma Orb's even functioning well. It did get a big buff. The additional change is what's really carrying that. Nova and the damage effectiveness at 120 is pretty amazing now too. So a lot of cool things. Sadly, I think that there's so many skills right now that are mechanically flawed, and they need, like, despite being the most viable league, you know, we use that word in Path of Exile, this is like the most viable league for skills. Like, you have to be very creative with some of them still. Most of them being projectile.
I just realized we practically have a boomerang skill. Spectral Throw is like literally a boomerang skill. How didn't you point that out, Zeno Pohx? Come on.
I don't know.
I didn't even think it. I didn't even think it.
I don't even think about it either. I'm like, I want a boomerang skill, like the Spectral Throw. No, that's... Oh.
It's a boomerang skill.
I've never used a build with Special Throw before. Well,
guys, this is 3 pros on State of Exile here, representing.
Totally. Well then, all right then. I take it back. I just need to release a boomerang MTX with Spectral Throw, and I'll be happy.
Or a boomerang spell, let's say.
Too much Grim Dawn for you two. You're both banned. We're gonna have to get some new guests.
That's it. Yeah, back to Grim Dawn. I'm making a podcast, State of Grim Dawn.
State of Grim Dawn. It's Grim
It's a
Yawn.
hostile takeover of this podcast.
Let's kick it off. Let's go into Ascendancy, guys. So, unless you want to do Golem first, what are you guys feeling? Golem, Ascendancy classes?
Let's do the Golem first. Get him out.
All right. So, there's a new Golem coming out. It's called the Stone Golem, if you guys don't know. It's an Earth-like Golem that smashes the ground around it, and the things it hits will then taunt towards the Golem. Taunt is one of those things in Path of Exile where we're like, we don't really know what taunt means. Is it just an aggro reset? Or does it actually taunt?
Well, when they redid the war cries recently, they kind of went over taunt. It was they changed it because it used to just be an aggro reset and it wasn't very good, but they made it better when they did the war cries again. So it's stickier now. I don't know exactly how they did it though, like mechanically on their end, but like taunts are much stickier now than what they used to be.
So maybe the Stone Golem will actually be good. And it provides a buff of life regeneration is what they said. We're not sure if it's static flat life regeneration or percentage-based. Obviously, the community wants percentage-based because flat life regeneration feels bad, man. Rejuve Totem, we use it all the time, right? No. Okay, so that's what's coming out. If it is percentage-based, we could see some more viable RF builds, Might be able to see them at earlier levels, not as unique dependent. Be pretty good. Maybe you could see some blood magic ones. You don't have to run Vitality or Purity of Fire. Yeah, you still have to run Purity of Fire. Who are we kidding? Oh, no, wait. Think about it. Purity of Fire inside of the new ring that gives you +2 to gems and a free aura. And then you pick up blood magic, and if Stone Golem gives you 2% regen, that's better than Vitality. Now you can go RF with blood magic. Think about that.
That would work out really. That's interesting.
We just keep getting more and more stuff to make Righteous Fire work on pretty much every build. I feel like we're just shy of that point. I'm surprised we're kind of not there already, to be honest. But we're just shy of that point where every build's going to be running Righteous Fire, and soon we're just going to have like Righteous Fire Cyclones and shit just for the hell of it because everyone's going to have so much regen. Like, I'm just surprised, like, because after so long they were careful about adding more regen and stuff like that, and like making sure to balance against Righteous Fire, but now it's we're just getting more and more and more and more. So with Ascendancies, the talismans, this little golem now. But yeah, as for the actual golem himself, meh.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's kind of the way I'm feeling.
Yeah,
he looks kind of cool, I guess, but I feel like they could be doing so much more with the golems. Like in general, I think the golems
they can. Or they should just remove golems and just not have them in the game.
Pohx, go ahead. Let's talk about golems.
All right, so like I like the design. I think it's a good start. I think it needs to go in a completely different direction, but I don't like golems because it feels like every build you play should use a golem, and you're forced into using it if you want the buff. But the golem doesn't actually do anything for you. Like it doesn't tank for you. Maybe for some builds it somehow tanks, but it runs around, it makes mob aggro go somewhere else. As a trapper, it's really frustrating because like if you have a golem and he just decides to run this way and like 2 mobs chase him, I have to like throw an individual trap over at the 2 mobs specifically every time the stupid golem goes away. And I don't know. Like I feel like if they wanted to reward players with a buff, there should just be a buff you could pick, like a buff of 1 of 5 or something.
They're not significant enough to want to self-cast most of the time now. It's a pain in the ass to self-cast them.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the time we're just running like a level 1 cast damage taken with like a level 4 golem or a level 1 golem or whatever. Yep. And just getting your like a couple % crit bonus or your 3% fizz mitigation.
That's what I mean. No one's using a golem for, I guess, what you would say the intended use of a golem. Like my summoner doesn't even use a golem because it doesn't even have space for a golem. But like, I don't know, and I've seen a lot of other builds as well. Like usually, if you want to min-max and pull something out, use an Animate Guardian because that actually gives like that's only limited to 1 anyway. 1 for the party, buffs everybody. So I don't know.
Golems just don't do damage anyways. Like maybe if they actually did damage, like someone had a level 28 fire golem to kill its Ziri, and it took them forever. Like level 28 fire golem, the build was based around it, and it took forever. That should not happen. Like these golems should actually do something.
Like I like the idea.
They seem a bit
of
worried
buffs.
about them having damage, huh?
Yeah.
I love the idea of the buff. It gives you something to diversify yourself a little bit in some type of way, because it's your choice. But I just don't like the way the buff is incorporated.
Yeah, I like the intention behind the golems and this idea of giving a lot of people like a companion to run around with. It's awesome. It is nice. Like They don't tank a lot, but when you do have a leveled up golem running with you, it does help a lot when you're playing a ranged character, having that extra target on the field to draw enemy fire. But yeah, it's just they really don't feel like enough at the moment, or engaging enough mechanical choice at all.
We'll see how the taunt works from the stone golem. I mean, it sounds cool because like enduring cry works pretty good, but like how reliable is it going to be? That's another thing.
It's either they need to actually do damage nowadays, or they're going to need to be tankier. Because I actually level up my cast when damage taken Ziggy to like level 19, 20. I don't mind with a high level golem because he actually does live. They live a lot more at higher levels, and then I could spawn and get a little bit more of a buff. But it's like, and that's a 2 slot you're taking up just for a little tiny buff. That half the time the damn thing is it's a chain map. Got to take out my golem, or it's or Pohx's trapper situation where. Like, today I was fighting, what was his name? Vol, and Pohx is like, that's why I hate golems, because, like, Vol just charged at the golem. Yep. I thought he was charging at me, put me out of position, and it's just, like, clunky as hell. I don't know. I just think it's, like, you end up using it because you're like, why not? But most of the time, it's, like, just a hassle. So, instead of, like, developing more golems, maybe go back and fix the whole golem thing in general. Because it was a cool thing they came out with about a year ago, and we were excited about it, thinking they were going to do something, or we can use more than one. Like, why isn't there a unique that like buffs golem damage by 200%, and now you can have unlimited golems? Like, hey, cool, something neat like that. Golemancer, like.
What about what of these? All right. So one, I think the reason why golems feel so clunky is because if you think of minion AI in Path of Exile, it's really weird compared to other games. Like in Path of Exile, if you stand still, your golem will like go do a dance. Like he'll run around constantly over places. Usually in a game, a companion just sits right next to you and goes into combat with you, and if you run, it'll follow you. But the golem will just do whatever. It goes in like these unpredicted patterns. But why don't they make the concept of like not an aura off like coming off the golem, but like golems should like depending on the golem you have, it affects the monsters around the golem. Like it'll decrease their attack, but like very small margins, because that way it promotes keeping the golem alive, and then it's actually doing something rather than just buffing your character. It gives more intended use of or mechanic of the golem itself. If it's alive, it gives you something.
I feel like that could have a much stronger, more noticeable impact like that. Like imagine like a golem that had like a slowing aura. The slowing aura.
Yeah, just something
minor, potent
like,
one, right? Like so enemies end up grouping around it and kind of like getting pulled into like a sludge around it would be that like you'd actually notice like an actual visual impact of that golem doing something, grouping up those mobs and stopping them from getting to you and things like that as a ranged character. That'd be pretty sick. I feel like they could have much more impactful auras or AoE abilities to either affect mobs, like you said. That's a pretty good idea. Or to affect you.
You think about the initial release when they were hyping up Fire Golem, like this golem does high DPS and it augments your build, and you get it, and you're like, he can't even hit a white mob for 1/10 of its HP. Like, what are you talking about? High DPS? This thing sucks. Like, I have like a level 19 Fire Golem, and he like tickles monsters. He heals them. Like high DPS my ass. He gives me DPS. That's it.
Oh, we forgot to carry the integer in the tables, and he's actually healing mobs. Oops, my bad. Them integers.
All right.
So yeah, it sounds like we're all pretty not satisfied with the state of golems in general, enough to be excited about Stone Golem at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, they obviously need some kind of work, but there's more important things at hand. So now that we're done with griping about the golems, let's talk about Ascendancy classes. We're just going to swap over to this fancy pants picture here that Ziggy hooked me up with.
Oh, baby.
So pretty. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about here is the Berserker. It's the second Marauder class that was released recently.
Berserker.
So if you guys want to go to your Berserker page, we can do this.
Got him.
Alrighty. Berserker seems to be the type of Ascendancy class that's all about the take damage to deal damage or keeping your streaks going. When you think of the initial Blood Rage skill gem, I think it's like Berserker. It's that kind of play style where high mobility. Every time you take damage, you become enraged, and then you keep kill streaks going. Like a rampage type effect.
Definitely trying to push that risk-reward idea here with the Berserker.
So let's go over one of the first ones here. It's called Warbringer. It's recover 5% of your life and mana when you use a Warcry, and 100% increase Warcry cooldown recovery speed. This thing is one of my, I don't know, like, I feel mixed opinions about this one. The 100% increased Warcry cooldown recovery speed is pretty insane because it allows you to juggle 2 Warcries, either Abyssal Cry, Enduring Cry, Enduring Cry.
Is that the only way of getting that in the game at the moment?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
It's pretty
So that's
nuts.
the only way that's going to make it, like, because you can kind of do 2 Warcries at the moment. You can balance between rallying and enduring and still kind of get the buffs of both. It's a bit painful.
If you have increased duration and some duration nodes in your tree, your Rallying Cry usually can last around like 14 seconds or so you can kind of squeeze in the Enduring Cry. But
Yeah,
definitely
higher than
no.
It's a bit painful, but with this, definitely.
I have a 19-second rallying cry on my poison trapper right now.
And you have all those duration nodes for the poison
No,
and whatnot.
I only have like exceptional performance and 2 others. I don't have the second one, but I like it. I think that they should increase the mana recovery to way more, because if you think of this from a Marauder point of view, Marauder is not near that. Like Templar has
mana.
Yeah, Templar has mana
Is that 5
nodes.
mana?
Yeah, I'm thinking like logically, Templar has mana nodes, and Scion would have mana. That's the closest to mana. But like majority of people, let's be honest, don't really touch it. I think it should be like 20% like mana recovered when you use it, because if you're juggling a Warcry as well, Rallying Cry is going to give you flat mana per second, which is going to scale because the Marauder has like no mana anyway.
No mana.
So I think it should be like 20%. The 5% life I'm cool with. You know, you tap a Warcry, it just tops you off.
Well, Enduring Cry gives up quite a bit of regen already. So
It's just-
paired with
yeah.
that, it's really good.
Well, that's good.
The big thing is the Warcry cooldown recovery speed. That's good for dischargers too. Something to think about. You know, old school discharges, and who knows? Maybe we'll get some more Warcries in the future. So I think this note's actually, it's the life and mana. It's like cool, I guess. It's a little bit extra, but the cooldown recovery speed's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the
And
next,
it's more active playstyle too, which I really like. Like Warcries, I already really like. They're designed for that. It means that you're going for one skill spam to, you know, pretty regularly using this like shout buff that I always thought was pretty cool, and this is going to make it feel even more active. Rocking 2 different Warcries, pretty sick.
absolutely.
I like it.
Let's go into the 4-point passive here, going into the top arc. We have Pain Reaver, which is 2% damage, leeches life and mana if you've killed in the past 4 seconds. With the leech changes in the past year, 2% is a ton. And as long as you've killed something, you don't need Blood Magic, you don't need Blood Magic Support Gem, you don't need Mana Leech on a tree. Life Leech is always welcomed, of course, but this is pretty awesome because it's just damage leeches life. So this still promotes Elemental and Chaos playstyle while still promoting physical as well. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
All right, not much to talk about there.
I
Yeah.
mean, 4 seconds, basically, if you have enough mana to kill the first pack, then you're always, for the rest of the map, this is a clear speed build, right? Most of the time, you're going to have killed mobs in the last 4 seconds, so you could pretty feasibly rely on that for everything but boss fights.
All right, and then Cloaked in Savagery. This one's pretty nuts. 100% of damage leached as life if you've taken a Savage hit in the past 4 seconds. 20% increased damage if you've taken a Savage hit in the past 4 seconds, and 20% increased attack speed if you've taken a Savage hit. So a Savage hit is a hit that removes at least 20% of your maximum life is a Savage hit. So it's like they want you to take some big boy damage or have a high enough health pool or ES pool to really take that 20% of your health and then just have steroids, basically. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. How do you feel about this one, Pohx?
I like it. I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think maybe you should actually be rewarded even more for taking a Savage hit than just 100%. But when you think about it later on, when you get far into the game, majority of things, like, it's not even uncommon for a white monster to hit you for 20% of your maximum life, unless you're playing very heavy armor specs, because you have, in Path of Exile, armor doesn't mitigate spell damage, and this says a hit that removes at least 20% of maximum life. So you could very well just have a Roa with a damage mod on it charge you for 20%. Like, so I think it's cool. I think, in my opinion, Path of Exile lacks a lot of, like, boss fighting mechanics. Like Leech, for example, is usually only good for mob clearing. So whereas Pain Reaver would be for like jumping into packs and having your sustain, This would be for when you take a hit on a boss, because if a boss hits you, it's going to be a big hit. You'll have the steroid for damage, which goes hand in hand with the leech.
Would you go out of your way to not have any kind of armor? But with this amount of leech, you're having ridiculous amounts of leech at this point. It's almost like Val Pact.
Right, that's fine. If you get, it doesn't matter then, because if you lose 30% and you leech it fully, you're keeping your buff on.
Yeah, exactly.
One hit will instantly heal you whenever you take damage with this, and like you need Unwavering Stance with this class, right? You take Unwavering Stance with this so that you keep attacking through taking the damage. That roll charges you, deals 20-30% of your life, and then you get the buffs and you heal up instantly.
It's interesting you say that though, Ziggy, because Rite of Ruin, the passive right below it, is cannot be stunned if you've killed in the past 4 seconds, and this whole build's based around this 4-second gimmick. So as long as you're killing every 4 seconds, you're immune to stun. You're taking reduced damage, and then you get this insane steroid as long as you're taking big hits.
I don't know that I'd rely on Rite of Ruin for a Berserker build. I'm pretty sure I'd take Unwavering Stance.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, yeah, especially for boss fights and that, right? Anything that goes beyond that 4 seconds.
And Unwavering Stance also promotes you always being hit, which will always proc Cloak of Savagery kind of thing. I see what you're saying too.
Yeah, that's the point. You standing in there intentionally, wearing your Abyssus, like this is an Abyssus class, right? You wear your Abyssus, you take your increased damage, you stand there and face tank. And I think you could even be pretty tanky with this in a very different way. I love this passive. I kind of love this class as a result, because I think this collecting savagery is the key to it. It is the key to this entire class. The idea that you can be tanky by taking more and more damage, and it is risky because there is that potential that you're wearing the abysses and stuff like that. You can actually be one shot, but standing there face tanking, taking those hits, making sure you're not getting stunned with Unwavering, you have the perfect counter to the only thing that could kill you. As long as you're able to keep attacking, then you're going to be fully healed instantly as you take that damage. So your health will do this. It'll be like the old school Diablo 3 health, bouncing up and down. But it could actually be pretty damn strong, I think. And then you just have that permanent 20% damage and attack speed. And I think you're even though you're taking more damage, you're going to be tankier than if you didn't have this because of that leech.
I made a mistake earlier too. It says maximum life. It doesn't say maximum energy shield.
It shouldn't work with the ES, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize for that one. Gotta read. That's this game in a nutshell. So we talked about Rite of Ruin here, and I think Rite of Ruin actually works quite well with Aspect of Carnage, which is a later node. Rite of Ruin is 5% reduced damage taken if you've killed in the past 4 seconds. That's global reduced damage taken. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane, especially because it counters that of Aspect of Carnage, 10% increased damage taken for a massive 100% it's just ID or IAD increased attack damage. I'm used to saying IPD. It's not physical. It's just attack damage in general. So elemental builds are possible to be played with the Berserker. That's the crazy thing. 100% global attack damage is nuts. And Rite of Ruin can help counter that and also offer you, the stun unless you're going unwavering, like Ziggy said. And on the way to Aspect of Carnage, we get Crave the Slaughter, which is 25% increased attack speed if you've been hit, and then 10% increased movement speed if you've been hit. So obviously Crave the Slaughter is also quite good with Cloak and Savagery. If you're going to be trying to get these savage hits, you're going to be receiving any kind of hit. Crave the Slaughter is 25% attack speed plus the 20. I mean, that's a crazy steroids.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like Aspect of Carnage, increased damage taken, lots of extra damage. It seems natural to go with Cloak to Savagery, but you can't get that. You only get the 6 points, right? But Crave the Slaughter does go really well with it. So you've kind of got the choice between Warbringer, Rite of Ruin, or Crave the Slaughter, and I think I like Crave the Slaughter the most with Cloaked in Savagery out of those three.
Absolutely.
I think so. Because, as I said, I'd go Unwavering Stance over Rite of Ruin, so you wouldn't even bother with Rite of Ruin at that point if you're going Unwavering.
Movement speeds if you haven't been hit. Again, reading, I'm really on point today. I'm on point, guys.
I kind of like that. You get to the next pack quicker, and then you take that hit and you get the attack speed while you're standing there face tanking. I feel like it's perfect for.
And if you need to run, it'll activate.
Yeah,
it's a good call. Pretty. I don't know. This tree in general, does not promote my playstyle at all, but it's the whole risk for reward. That's the way I would describe this. Just complete meat grinder, dual wielding, two-handed. Doesn't matter what you want to do. Take damage, do damage, kind of thing.
I love it because it's the only thing in the game at the moment that I think is actually really true to what I visualized of the Marauder, right? As this go hard Berserker. Because at the moment, I feel like he doesn't really have any of that going on. But this is get as much damage as possible, take as much damage as possible, get stronger when you take more damage. You just get angry. I love it. I love it.
The thing I was saying about Marauder earlier today was, I was talking about it on stream, that other classes you'll see like CI Rangers just because projectile damage, or you'll see evasion and armor Rangers as well. Like even Witch, you could see like hybrid energy shield armor or mana based, more than just your standard old, plain energy shield as Witch. Like you can play multiple ways, but Marauder is always armor. You're not playing an evasion Marauder. Rarely are you playing like a low life or ES Marauder. So this opens up that new playstyle that we really haven't seen. You don't always have to go pure armor on a Marauder. Now you can intentionally just have high health, so that way you could be jacked up on steroids.
You could even, as weird as this would be, this class would actually be pretty good with evasion, just having some evasion. Because the idea is you only need to be hit every so often. If you're standing there face tanking and you have very high leech, you kind of just want to take that hit every, once every 4 seconds. You don't need to get hit like multiple times per second. So evading 25% of the hits, just having some like hybrid armor evasion gear, it could actually be worth using.
So you're scrapping the unwavering stance idea then?
Oh, right. Fuck.
Yeah.
Forgot about that aspect. God damn it. Yeah,
what were you going to say,
point. You need the unwavering, don't you? Yeah,
I was going to say, I would totally play this as an evasion character. Like, I mean, I would get a little, like, armor maybe from, like, endurance charges, but not actually, like, mitigation. Because you're going to need some mitigation, because high end, if you get hit, it's going to hurt. So
yeah, some block's a good one. Or like where Pohx is going, if you're going some evasion, Rite of Ruin. So instead of unwavering. So I guess that now I see kind of one of the potential points of Rite of Ruin, whereas before I didn't really see the point of it. So that's something.
Alrighty, so now that we've talked about this class, let's go on to the next one here. We're gonna make our way down to the Elementalist. If you guys want to pull it up.
Elementalist.
Elementalist, in my opinion, is the weakest of the three ES, or the weakest of the three Witch classes. However, is still insanely strong. Elementalist is, first off, the art is amazing. Whoever did the art, well done.
It's sick.
Beautiful. When I first saw this class, like every other one, I was screaming, OP, OP, oh my god. There are some underwhelming ones in here, but there's some crazy, crazy ones in here. Let's start with the left side of the tree. We'll go with a Pendulum of Destruction. Every 10 seconds, you gain 100% increased elemental damage for 4 seconds. That is nuts. So in the video, they stated you could time your Val skills appropriately for this. Or if you're playing a Trapper, time your traps, well enough for this. If you're
playing a Valsparker, then every third Valspark is massive damage.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Something to think about, too, is it's elemental damage, meaning that you could be playing an elemental attack build still for this to work, too.
That's the interesting about in Ascendancy in general, that they're doing that as much as possible, that they're making as many of these kind of as, having a bit more open to interpretation. Like, sure, this looks like a spellcaster, but maybe you can make an elemental attack build with it because of the wording. That's good.
Yep. Like a Wander, like an Elemental Wander would love that node. But, Mastermind of Discord, the next one, wouldn't be so well because it's specific to skills. Damage penetrates 20% cold if you use a fire skill, 20% lightning if you use a cold skill, and 20% fire if you use a lightning skill. So it's specific to skill gems, so fire, cold, and lightning skill alike. So you might be seeing some weird things like this, but of course my first thought was Trapper. We have Ice Trap coming out. Fire and lightning already exist. Could we see an Elemental Trapper utilizing these in Secession?
I want to ask Pohx, Trappers already get a lot of elemental penetration. Do you think 20% penetration would be worth you considering this over the Trapper Shadow?
I mean, so the thing about this build is this is promoting the use of 3 different traps, different elements. So it should be fine going with this because you're going to be rotating 3 different traps. And since you get the penetration with each one, I think it's totally an option. But
especially paired with Elemental Equilibrium.
Yes.
Now you're getting the -50 plus the 20 pen. That's nuts.
Something I want to know is if Discharge is fire, cold, and lightning. It's tagged with all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Does that imply if you use that you get 20% penetration every
there
element?
There you go. That's
it seems like a massive discharge buff then. Like the most obvious choice is going to be discharge, or maybe Ellie Hit.
Ellie Hit too. Ellie Hit would also work. Wild Strike would also work. Wild Strike might actually be decent with this. Hey, you finally have penetration for an attack build. So it's pretty interesting that this would work with Wild Strike as well.
Wow, yeah, that's a good call.
So this class is, you really have to think outside the box with this one because it's tagged Elementalist. Think of something that just does all around global elemental damage, or something, you know, in Secession where you can use EE. Because like, let's say you're playing Searing Bond, for example, right? Searing Bond would love 100% increased elemental damage, and then you throw yourself an ice, I don't know, like a Ice Nova trap. Just so you could proc the
You can't
EE.
damage pen Searing Bond if that's where you're going.
Exactly. So you would get the -70 fire resistance from just throwing like an ice, or you'd have to use a lightning skill. So just use like ball lightning trap or something.
Or shock nova, yeah.
So it'd be pretty crazy for already a tri-curse Searing Bond build, or even RF. RF can mess around with this.
Well, no. What I'm saying is you can't damage pen degens at all. Like they don't.
Oh, right.
So that wouldn't actually work with Searing Bond or any sort of degen. Like it wouldn't really even be any good for Ignite builds or anything either.
Oh wow. Never. Well, I mean, it'd be good for Ignite builds if you're counting the initial damage, the upfront damage, but not the degen. Good point on that. So it wouldn't work for that. See, these are the kind of things we need to think about here.
Yeah, it just like, to me it just seems okay. So discharge, all right. Sounds obscene for discharge.
Yeah, definitely discharge, Wild Strike, Ellie hit, trappers. These are the things I think of when I see this. Can you guys think of any other situations where you would pick up those nodes?
Yeah, only like, cutesy ones like Ellie hit and that.
Ellie hit, yeah. All right, so let's go to the right side here. We'll go with Liege of the Primordial. This thing I'm pretty meh about. It's 10% chance to summon a lesser elemental golem when you kill an enemy with elemental damage. I don't know how much damage they do.
Yeah, it was too hard to say anything about this, but if they're anything like the little talisman golems that spawn, they could be pretty beastly.
I mean, PoE and minions are usually, if you date back to golems, then, I don't know. Like, if you're not scaling minion damage, I don't really think it's going to do anything. And you can't link it.
Yeah.
In the video, they were just kind of like chilling there too. Like he killed a pack, and the golem's like, "Well, everything's dead from your flame blast, so I'm AFK, bro."
Blow up a pack, and there's like 4 golems there, and you just like run to the next pack. Bye, golems. Yeah.
It's like PK, man.
I think it's got to be one of the dumbest nodes in the entire Ascendancy.
Yeah, this is like, it was like Elementalist is like, what? Like the other nodes, you're like, whoa, and then Legion Primordial, you're like, what a noob trap.
This should be like a flavor modifier on a unique, I think, not an Ascendancy passive.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a 10% chance to summon a golem, I still wouldn't like it because I have golems.
Golems do nothing, so a lesser golem
version. Yeah, what is it going to do?
Does it heal them?
Maybe they're stronger than the major golems.
If it said 10 golems, I still wouldn't take it.
It's kind of funny because like we were all overhyping Contagion, right? And then Essence Drain came to be the GG. So is maybe lesser golem stronger than the golems we get in the current state of the game?
Maybe.
Same thing with the nodes in the tree. What is it, Master of Force?
Yeah, but don't worry, if you're a Force Shaper, you're GG. But if you're a Master of Force, you suck.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, let's go to Shaper of Desolation. 20% chance to gain Elemental Conflux for 4 seconds when you kill an enemy. While you have Elemental Conflux, all damage from hits will cause Chill, Shock, and Ignite. So automatically apply status ailments. This doesn't mean... you're still going to be dependent, I believe, on shock duration and all that kind of stuff. But you're guaranteed to get it now for 4 seconds.
If you're not dealing enough damage to get past the minimum threshold for a duration, then you're still not going to shock freeze and all that. But nearly all the time, you're dealing enough damage for that. This is like, let's talk about those numbers. 4 seconds, 20% chance whenever you kill an enemy. So how many enemies are in the average pack size? 5 to 10. That's you're pretty much guaranteed to get every pack and have it up for the entire map. So you pretty much have guaranteed Chill, Shock, and Ignite against all mobs, including the boss when you get to it.
To clarify, in order to ignite, unless you have 3 dragons or some gimmick, you're going to need to deal fire damage. So if you're playing a pure lightning build without any fire damage, you're not going to ignite. You still need to trigger that threshold.
You'll only deal the status elements of your damage.
And Chill and Shock still will require 5% of the target's maximum health done as that element or 3 dragons.
This just means you can have like a lightning build with some cold damage, like Herald of Ice or something, and maybe do enough to freeze most things and be non-crit, right? Like to have like really good
non-crit, exactly,
status on non-crit builds.
I was gonna say if you're still doing like Prolif, which I know some people still do, and you run maps, now map mods can roll has X and X chance to resist elemental status ailment, and this would help counteract that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this is if you're playing an elementalist with this no chance to ignite, free gem. So if you were ever playing chance to ignite Prolif back in the day, if Prolif is ever a thing again, Beacon of Ruin. Elemental status effects caused by your skill spread to other nearby enemies. It's elemental proliferation. Sadly, it says radius 9. Feels bad, man.
Bam bow. That's very. It's quite small. That's a player model is 3 radius. I think from memory, like from talking to Rory recently. So it's about 3 character widths, which is not very big.
Yeah.
It's basically mobs that are almost touching each other. They have
However,
to be arm's reach from each other.
Area of Effect does scale that because it is a base radius, so therefore Area of Effect can scale that. But
yeah,
it's not
AoE
much.
scaling on the tree would affect that. Yep, good point.
People in chat are saying that they confirm.
Wait, what is radius 2? Okay.
No, that all damage will ignite shock and chill, even though it's not listed.
Huh?
That's what they said. Martin said
all damage from hits will cause chill, shock, and ignite.
But you still have a threshold. You still have a threshold of chill, shock, and ignite. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think that can overcome the base mechanics of the game. Like, unless it would have to have wording like 3 dragons for any type of damage to cause all of the status elements. I don't think that's true at all.
It just makes it so you don't need to crit and you don't need to spec into chance to freeze or chance to chill and all that. You still need chance to freeze. And then the last one we have here is Paragon of Calamity. For each element you've been hit by damage in the past 4 seconds, 40% increased damage of that element. For each element you've been hit by damage of in the past 4 seconds, 8% reduced damage of that element. So this is pretty cool for reflect purposes specifically. A lot of these elemental builds have a lot of reflect problems. And you get steroids when you receive damage from that hit. I don't know, what are your thoughts about this one, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely contingent, situational.
This is like for non-crit builds, right? There's some non-crit builds that worry about reflect, but to spend those 2 extra points that could be spent on like Pendulum of Destruction or something, I don't know, I think I'd probably opt for that. Like, it seems like Beacon of Ruin plus Pendulum of Destruction or Mastermind plus Shaper. Like, that's pretty much what this
that's
tree
exactly
is.
what I'm going to do. My first build I'm planning is the Ice, Fire, Lightning Trapper with Shaper and Mastermind. Just so I always could shock with my opening Lightning Trap, and then I have the penetration and the bonus damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good uses for it, but I think for the majority part, when you're running endgame stuff, every spell is like gonna one-shot you, with the exception of just like basic mobs. So I don't know. I think like you said with Coil, it has niche uses. You take lightning damage, you gain mitigation. That's good. You know, that's a niche way to spec it. But I think other than the few ways you can use it, it's not too good.
Well, Lightning Coil, what's the other one? Any type of the Red Blade helmets and Cloak of Flame, Taste of Hate. I mean, did we really need more of a buff to them? Probably not. It's going to only make them stronger. However, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if you're using one of those, like a Red Blade helmet or a Lightning Coil or something, Paragon would probably
If
win
you're
out
actually
one of your
using
options.
Lightning Coil, Taste of Hate, and Red Blade helmet, anytime you receive physical damage, you're pretty much going more and more immune.
So in that case, yeah, it's pretty good. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I mean, it does have its uses there, and you're getting all 4 of those extras elemental damage too. So.
Side note about Beacon of Ruin: the base melee attack range of an axe is 7, and the radius of Beacon of Ruin is 9. So it's about melee range with an axe.
That's pretty cool.
The Brolith is one of those things that's going to be impossible to balance as long as it exists. Let's just be honest. It's either too strong or it's garbage.
Yeah, I guess like it has historically been either one of those things. I feel like there must be a way though.
There's not gonna be a way.
It's if they made that radius like 15 or 12, it'd be pretty bonkers.
Bring Fire Trap back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the free support gem as well. Plus the status, like the guaranteed status elements too. It would be pretty obscene if it was large radius.
Where the hell is Mowgli? Mowgli, shut up! I'm a freaking cat, man. You hear him?
I guess my issue with Beacon of Ruin is that I feel like it's not reliable enough to make yourself an Ellie Prolif build around, and that means that for like every normal build though, it doesn't really do anything. What does that actually do for a regular build if you're not trying to focus on the Prolif? So let's say you're not trying to like Flame Blast Prolif to nearby mobs, right? Like let's say you're not trying to do that. What does it do for a regular build that's not intentionally trying to Prolif? Like, does it increase your clear speed? Maybe a tiny bit. Does it really freeze and shock nearby mobs? No, because you're already doing that with Shaper of Destruction because you have the guaranteed freeze and shock. What does it actually do? Like,
nothing. It does nothing.
It doesn't actually do anything.
It gives you Prolif if you wanted to spec Prolif without the negative downside. Whoop-de-doo.
The radius is not good enough to be an actual Prolif build, though.
Beacon of Ruin and Liege of Primordial are garbage, as far as I'm concerned. The strongest one in here is probably Paragon of Calamity, if used correctly. The other ones are all great. The other three are all great. Shaper, Pendulum, and Mastermind.
I think maybe Beacon of Ruin could be good enough to correct some issues with some shitty feeling spells, like namely Magma Orb, with its kind of little gaps in between it all. Like with the guaranteed Ignite and Magma Orb hitting really hard, and then probably kind of like the same way Poison.
But if it's hitting hard, it's dying, so Beacon of Ruin still sucks.
No, the thing is, Magma Orb always misses mobs. That's its problem, right?
Oh.
It's got really good damage. It has very good AoE because of the massive amounts of bounces, but it just always misses mobs. That's the problem with Magma Orb. And Poison Prolif, I found, fixed that, so I'm playing a Poison Prolif Magma Orb build, and Magma Orb feels great with that. And that's about, I think Beano's proliferation is almost a similar size. I can't remember, but
yeah, it's pretty small.
9 radius will be enough to cover those gaps in Magma Orb, so it would fix problems with Magma Orb.
The problem with it is, though, Ziggy, it's like you're like trying to find like you're thinking of scenarios where Beacon of Ruin could be good, which is like makes it automatically bad. Like if you can't think of a clear-cut reason why Beacon of Ruin would be good, it's bad.
Well, I would definitely pick it up on a Magma Orb build.
Fair enough.
Well, he has a point, though. Just because you wanted to look at it like without using it as an actual build, what would it just give use to as just a general keystone, basically?
Well, someone in chat said, why would you get it if you're not playing a Prolif build? My reason is that I don't think it's good enough for a Prolif build, so then you have to think, what does it offer to non-Prolif builds, but it's seemingly not much.
Yeah.
So that's my issue. It doesn't seem to fit either role.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the class overall.
I think it's Paragon of Calamity is going to be broken, and people are going to cry for nerfs for it. Everything else is whatever. Let's go to the next one. We're going into Guardian.
This is the new support character.
Correct.
Pretty beastly.
So, all right, what's the first thing you guys thought when you saw Guardian? Not support, but something else.
Support.
Aegis. It was Aegis Aurora. Done. Game over. You win at life.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought. So we have Radiant Faith, which grants you armor equal to 160% of your reserved life. So if you have 2,000 armor, that's 3,200 life. Or if you have 2,000 life reserve, that's 3,200 armor. Oh, that's Aegis. Oh, but then when you reserve your mana, you're getting Energy Shield. So Aegis, okay. And then we have Block. You get where I'm going with this? So it's pretty crazy. At least I thought it was. It seems they're trying to bring back, or they're trying to make a strong support class, like give support an identity. We don't know what Scion is yet. There's some people saying Scion might be support. Overall, what is your opinion of this class, Ziggy?
It seems very strong. Like it could bring Aegis back in a good way, in a big way. It seems very strong for insanely strong for a party play, obviously as a support character. And then I think there's also some pretty nice potential here for like a support, more defensive summoner as well. So like we're worried about the summoner class on Witch being the only way to play a summoner and locking everyone to Witch if they want to play summoner. You could definitely see a Summoner Templar happening with this class. You're going to have some insanely tanky summons. Now, tankiness is not always the main thing summoners are looking for. Granted, summons can, like zombies and stuff, can already be pretty tanky, but you're getting at the same time a massive amount of support potential as well. So, like rocking that with a party, I think could be pretty strong. So it does seem very oriented towards party play on both the summoner and the support end of the spectrum.
True.
Yeah, it's very true, actually.
The crazy thing about this thing is like Conduit seems like meh when you first read it, but then you're like, where is Conduit in the tree? Pretty far from Templar. And then you're thinking we can have all Templars Guardians with Conduit, and pretty crazy things could happen. You know, like just like the new stuff that it opens up, I think is pretty silly. I actually was pretty underwhelmed by this class when I saw it. I don't know. I feel like some of the nodes are just pretty meh overall. Like remove curse and status elements from you every 10 seconds. Like
yeah, that one's
you
bad.
should already, if you're good at this game, or even if you're bad at this game, you're already going to want to remove that crap as soon as it's on your head. Like as soon as you see that curse, you take it off
instantly. Yeah, you don't want to like be like it could be 9 seconds away or it could be 1 second away. I guess we'll see what happens.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way to look at it. I think the way to look at it is in Path of Exile. There's a lot of times where you take really random spike damage. Like it'll just happen. Like you don't always expect damage to happen. And every 10 seconds of your character's life, there is going to be a 1 second frame where you heal 30% of your life and remove whatever is on you. And potentially that's 10% of your entire character's playtime. So I'm not saying there's a good chance, but there's a chance that can always come in when you need that heal. And the remove curse is just an extra thing to have. I think it's actually not that bad. Like it might look silly, but when you think about it realistically, I don't know. I think there's a chance it could be okay.
The health was okay. I think the status element was just.
The health is also streaky. It's like as soon as you take damage, you're popping that instant. Like there's a reason why instant flasks get used almost always over every other type of flask.
You would be surprised though if you look. It's 30% of maximum life over 1 second. So in half a second, most people don't even react to things in a second. Most people that play PoE die.
10% of the time you take damage, you get 30% of it back over 1 second.
Yes.
I mean, it's like
it's not
10%. Well, it's not 10% of the time you take damage. You know what I'm trying to say? It's
But,
like super situational.
I guess the way I look at it, like if you're doing a lot of bossing and some other stuff, you will take a rent. Like if you get hit, it's gonna be like a 5k hit. There's a chance you could just instantly heal. So I don't know. I like it for 2 points. I think it's pretty cool.
But how do you use Blast in PoE? Like typically, you what I do is called pre-pot, right? Like you expect the damage and you pot for it, and you're always going to be doing that. So like this is going to like maybe occasionally give you a little bit of an extra heal that maybe you needed, but most of the time I feel not. Like yeah, it feels too random, and like that's not actually really going to make much difference. I mean, like, a lot of the time it's just going to happen when you have full life anyway.
I don't know, like you do, like of course you go into things pre-potting, but sometimes you just don't expect to take a lot of damage. I don't know, like I see it from both points of view, but I also do like this thing. I don't know.
Okay, so chat is writing, and we better go back to this for a second. So, Mark GGG mentioned that from the Elementalist class, the all damage can shock, burn, ignite, and all that. Apparently, does actually work. Like your
For
physical
all sources
will
of damage.
ignite, and your physical will freeze and stuff like that. So any damage you do shocks, freezes, and ignites them.
Chills.
Chills, and ignites them. Shocks, chills, and
Which is
ignites
pretty crazy, and
That's
we are
insane.
all sorry, people. We are all sorry.
Yeah.
We assumed we didn't go
see
through the
post.
forums.
I mean, the wording of it
The
doesn't
wording
like
would
the
seem
wording
it
of it
goes by the
implies that,
threshold.
but I didn't think the wording could override the base mechanics of the game that you need fire damage to create an ignite, right? Like I didn't think that it would override that.
I'm pretty
But,
sure there's a
yeah.
mechanic that
Apparently
says
that's
the same
actually
thing.
case.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure.
people watching this later on YouTube, the Elementalist node that yields you the guaranteed 4 seconds of random elemental status ailment does apply to all damage sources. We are sorry. We were wrong there, YouTubers. And everyone in Twitch, stop spamming. Jeez, just stop spamming.
We didn't want to interrupt ourselves mid-sentence to correct
Yes.
ourselves earlier. But
Don't
yeah,
need to
no, that
relax.
is like going back to it. Then that is insane for sure. That's a crazy, crazy node. Because having an ignite that's based on all of your damage. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually useful.
having a shock that's based on your damage, so
yeah, that's what I mean.
Basically you're perma-shocking everything with that build. Okay. So perma-shock, 50% more damage to everything. Okay. Seems pretty insane. Kind of ridiculous. It was good without it being all damage, but apparently it's even better.
All right, so let's time of need, as we were just talking about, it's pretty meh. Let's talk about Bastion of Hope. So 5% chance to block. As you guys know, block got changed about a year and a half ago to they finally nerfed it, and now like 5% chance to block is no joke. You and your nearby allies cannot be stunned if you've blocked in the past 4 seconds. That's pretty amazing for you, your allies. I mean, we don't know the radius of that. It's completely situational, but
yeah,
hey.
The nearby thing concerns me. Like, is that 2 screens? Is that half a screen? That
Is
that
that
makes
radius
a
9?
big difference to this entire class. Radius 9. Because the thing is, for Bastion of Hope to work well, you need to be running up ahead of your party and taking hits so that you're blocking and giving them, your free unwavering stance for everybody, which is amazing. That's a really good buff.
Huge.
But if you are running ahead to be able to take those, to like block those hits and, get up there with your minions and all that, if you're running minions, then it's like, if the radius isn't wide enough, you're not actually going to be feeding it to people anyway, so.
And that you cannot be stunned is if you're playing an Aegis build and you're already running Radiant Faith, like, so now you're immune to stun. You're getting 5% block on top of all the block you're already getting from the tree. All the armor and ES you're getting from Radiant Faith. This is pretty nuts. Like, it just screams like immune to stun, never gonna die build. Unless mobs have block pen, I can't see how Aegis is gonna die unless they get one shot.
I think this is insane because even if you take off the allies cannot be stunned, it's still insane for you. Like, it's still nuts because that node before it is a shield icon. It's probably going to give block as well. So.
Yep. Not to mention, it's like you don't have to deal with the block recovery, the block stun recovery anymore because you're immune. Pretty cool. Unwavering.
Let's go ahead.
I was going to go into the next ones, the Harmony of Purpose. Not Harmony of Purpose, Unwavering Faith. Unless you want to talk about Bastion of Hope still.
Well, I was going to talk about Prayer of Glory first.
Go for it.
So this is probably my favorite. Using War Cries is instant, and you gain a bonus 15% attack, cast speed, and move speed if you've used a War Cry in the last 4 seconds. So using War Cries is instant. There's not many examples. I don't think there's any examples of this in the game currently, but
Detonate mines. It does not stutter.
And you can use it while casting or while running, right?
Yeah, you just walk in a straight line.
Amazing.
If you do spam it though, sometimes it'll glitch and stutter step you. But for the most part, there's no animation. You just keep going. Think of cast when damage taken. There's no animation.
Love it. I love it. So that's another, similar to the other one we talked about earlier. That's good enough that you would use 2 War Cries, so that because it's just going to be so convenient to do so. And oh my god, so good, love it. But yeah, free endurance charges for everyone, and free endurance charges for you, and free heals, and free rallying cry damage for everyone. It's pretty good, pretty damn good.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think for summoners too, again, it's you and nearby allies, not nearby party members. It's nearby allies.
Yeah, that move speed.
Yep, movement speed is super king for them.
Yeah, like I was thinking Null's Inclination if I was playing this, because you use Rallying Cry for your minions, and now they're getting attack, cast, and move speed. That's like everything you want on Nulls. You want those things to move there quick.
This passive is like having a permavile haste on your party.
It's haste. Yeah. It's nuts.
Not bull haste, just haste.
Just haste.
Just haste.
Not good as
We're not there yet. We're not there yet, Ziggy.
Not quite Vile haste level.
It's nuts.
But yeah, like you can have your Vile haste on top of that.
Yeah, Summoner Templar is definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Guardian Summon Templar is going to be a thing. I wish they made it so Conduit would finally work for minions. I think that'd be crazy and super fun. Everything's OP, right? Let's just make Conduit work for allies, but still only party members. I was hoping to see that when I read Harmony of Purpose, but no such luck.
I wonder if that so Conduit doesn't supply charges to your minions, right? But Correct. Can minions supply charges to you? That's my question, because You gain nearby. Oh, it's party members though. It won't be. It's not allies. Man, I wish that was nearby allies had conduit, because then you could get like the frenzy monkeys and stuff, giving your team frenzy charges.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty sweet. Or giving everybody frenzy charges. Okay.
All right, so the last one is Unwavering Faith. Auras you cast grant 1% physical damage reduction to you and your allies. Auras you cast grant 0.2% maximum life regenerated per second to you and your allies. So Vitality is even more useless now. Good to know. And you're just getting, I mean, let's say you're actually a support character. You're running Tri-Purity, and then you're reserving your mana and your life because Radiant Faith is on the way towards that. I mean, you're getting some pretty absurd stuff. Like...
You can run 6 auras typically quite easily.
Yeah, you're a low life summoner.
Yeah, my low life summoner runs 6. So,
pretty nuts.
Yeah,
what party wouldn't want to have 5-6% extra mitigation, 1% extra regen, and then a grace amount of armor from the life reserve, and a couple hundred extra ES, plus probably war cries and 15% move speed.
It's crazy.
Like, what party wouldn't want that, right?
I mean, you're not going to get tons of ES.
Like 1 week party or anything like that is going to have a Guardian in their party, I think.
Yeah. You're not going to get a ton of ES from the reserved mana because, generally speaking, I mean, you might get some. I don't know. It really depends. It depends on how much ES percent you have in your tree. But it's still, like, Radiant Faith is so strong, so strong.
But even, like, 50, 100 extra ES is still... That's still a pretty good chunk of extra ES.
Yeah, absolutely. Rip Vitality. They really need to change Vitality. Like there's no reason to use that aura at all ever now. Like, I know you hated Haste, Ziggy, but I'm sorry. I think Vitality's
taking that spot, yeah.
Garbage. I think Vitality's even more garbage than Haste in the current state of the game, but, you know.
Haste is insane. You just have to be very skillful with it.
You have to use SRS. There you go.
Right. Summons. Haste total.
I will save questions for the Q&A if you guys want to post them in chat, too.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Guardian, to me, it's underwhelming, maybe because I just hate Templar, but he does have some pretty crazy things. Let's go into the Hierophant. +2 soul hearts.
+2 soul hearts.
+2 soul hearts. How much time we have left? We got 50 minutes still. We got plenty of time to cruise through these. We've done 3 of the trees right now. We got 4 more to go. Yeah.
All right. Take us through, Zeno.
All right, we got Hierophant. This guy, he specializes in, well, first off, 10% chance to gain power charge on kill, 25% chance to gain endurance charge when you gain a power charge. The endurance, like, gaining endurance charges on a contingency I never really understood because Enduring Cry exists. I'm like, cool, I could get endurance charges when I crit. Yeah. Like, whatever, who cares? Like, you have Enduring Cry. But the 10% power charge gain on kill means that we don't have to play the Assassin's Mark game anymore. Pretty nice. Unless you're playing a totem build, you're still going to have to find a way to get your power charges. But I really like this node. It's called Conviction of Power. It seems that in Ascendancy, they're giving you more options than having to use a curse to gain your charges. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, that's good enough that with the power charge duration, you're going to have your max power charges just from clearing generally. And that's... like, whenever you gain a power, like, the 25% is enough to have max endurance charges, too. So, just as you're generally clearing, you're going to have max power and endurance charges. Like, it's pretty good.
Heck yeah.
No, I don't think it's good enough to, like, build a discharge build around it or anything, though. Like, I think it's just a buff to your general clearing.
The next one's Illuminated Devotion. This one's pretty interesting because you really have to be creative with these, and I'm sure some of you guys in chat have already thought of some interesting ways. Skills in your helmet penetrate 20% elemental resistances. Skills in your gloves have 20% increased area of effect, and skills in your boots leech 2%. What's it called? 2% of damage is life.
I like this.
Yeah, this is really cool.
It's cool. It's cool. By the way, just not to interrupt, but there's new screenshots of Ascendancy on the Path of Exile page.
Like new class?
No. New screenshots.
I see.
But I like it just because it adds a bit of diversity as to utilizing it, like Ziggy said, more than one button. So
yeah. Well, with Ascendancy, they're bringing out new support skills, like damage dealing support skills. So, but it's like there's like a frost and a lightning bomb thing,
offensive support
that you throw out, and those are designed to be good on a falling and support your main skill, and you can grab a 20% extra area of effect if you put it in your gloves on one of those. That's going to be really good for like the lightning one, for example. It'll be really good for both of them.
Or a bit of sustain.
And then,
yeah,
so great for those new skills that Ascendancy is bringing in and making less one-button builds, but also really good for certain builds that use uniques. There's a few different like helmets and stuff like that you put your main skill in. And,
not to mention
20% LE pen.
Not to mention, like, remember, helmets are getting enchants too. There might be some kind of gimmick where socketed things in this helmet get blah. We're not sure what these enchants officially are until we play Ascendancy. I mean, we got a couple teasers. Also, like trappers or your auras. 20% aura for a blasphemy curse is crazy.
Agix in chat says blasphemy plus Herald of Ice plus enduring crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Done.
Pretty sick.
Very true.
Yeah. 20%, yeah. Nice.
Like the gloves are going to be so important, or even like Empire's Grasp. Some people play like Shockwave Totem in those gloves. Now you have an additional 20% AOE on your Shockwave Totem. So like pretty interesting things like that.
Voidbringers is +1 to all elemental gems as well.
Yep.
So
this is going to be one of my favorite, like less crazy nodes. Like this is kind of. There's nothing too crazy about this. Like they're just, it's just AOE, pen, and life. But the way it's done and what it means, like what it promotes build wise, is really cool. It's gonna be one of my favorites. Love it.
There's 2 new flasks coming out as well.
Oh, your screenshots you're posting.
What the?
Yeah, this looks cool.
Let's see if I can get this uploaded real quick. Oh, you mean in there?
Yeah, they look
two
cool.
unique flasks. One looks like a jar of brains or something.
Looks like a health flask.
Oh, it looks like honey.
Delicious honey.
Honey.
Zeno's gonna try and pull it up on screen.
You want me to? Okay. I'll pull it up real quick. Let's see if I can do this. Gotta save it. Now that my internet's working,
Yay! Hooray for working internet.
Just take this off, man. This is some like next level stuff right here. Screenshot. Okay.
I feel like you make this more difficult than it needs to be.
Dude, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. All right, so here's the picture we got right now from pathofexile.com. What these guys are talking about, this is the most recent screenshot. ZiggyD likes to show these things. We have a health pot that looks like brains, Ziggy's saying, in a honey pot, according to Pohx.
What could that... So, yeah, I'm guessing the red one's a new unique healing flask. What do you think the yellow one is? A unique of one of the new utility flasks they revealed, maybe?
I got this. It heals you to full life and full mana, but gives you puncture. Applies puncture to you.
That's interesting.
He is currently punctured, and there's no...
it's from the mobs.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's
it's the mobs.
the puncture mob, yeah. No puncture mobs.
Well, all I know is that the guy's got vitality on his bar, and I think he's crazy, so there's that.
Wow.
It's not active,
He's not
so-
using it, though, so he knows.
Oh, it gives you puncture. There you go, Pohx. So watch it actually do that.
The only thing that's annoying me is he has auto attack.
The yellow jar is a piss jar. Yep. Very good chat.
It's a piss joke, Pohx.
It's for the long gaming sessions. It's the perfect jar for a long gaming session. You just don't want to get up from the chair.
You mean episode 3? Okay.
It's the it's the Pohx flask.
It's the Pohx. Never let it down, man.
I've come a long way as a person.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Back at home with my parents then.
Amazing.
Let's go back into the Hierophant here. Let's go to Ritual of Awakening. People keep asking me about this, and this is the only node people really talk about when they see Hierophant is Ritual of Awakening. Can summon up to 2 additional totems, 10% less damage, totem damage per totem active. I think this one is like, the first thing people say is, you can have 4 or 5 totems now. You're going to play that build, man? And I'm just like, if I need 5 totems or 4 totems to kill a pack, my build sucks bad. Like, real bad. I think Ritual of Awakening is good by itself without having to spec all those points into dual totem. What are your guys' thoughts?
So I agree with you in that general idea that, if you have to spend time summoning 4 or 5 totems to kill regular packs, then there's something going wrong. But what I like about this node's design is that it keeps that idea in mind, I think, because the 10% less damage per totem active is not always a less damage multiplier, or it's not always a penalty you have like you have with Ancestral Bond, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a penalty that happens only when you take advantage of this feature. So you can use this for when you need it, and you don't get a penalty when you don't need it. So you can use it on the rares and stuff that are nastier. You know, you can summon your 3rd or 4th totem, and on bosses you can summon your 4 totems. So I think it's I really like the design of it because I feel like it takes assessment of that fact that you wouldn't always want to be using the extra totems.
True. The cool thing is it's tagged totem damage, which means you could see some interesting minion builds or support builds if you want to do totem auras.
Yes, yeah, you can do totem generosity auras, and it's not bad either, because think of it like this: if you have insane damage already, right, and you get to a boss and you drop like purity totems, when you're around that totem, which you could get the AoE to be more than a screen, you have +4 or +5 to that max res.
I mean, you only need one of those, don't you?
Well,
one purity totem.
Depends on it depends on what the boss is. Realistically, if you're running unique maps, you're doing at 0, you could have 2. You know, fire and lightning. I don't know. I'm sure, but there's more. You could put Vol haste, or you could put haste on it, so the totem actually increases your movement speed with generosity. That's generosity haste is huge. It's like 20% of movement speed, I think.
Yes.
It's a lot.
It's still like super situational too, because it's like, why would you not play Guardian over Hierophant for a summoner? You know, it's like, are you really gonna go Ritual Awakening for that? I mean,
who knows? I mean, it's what the whole thing comes out for, right?
I mean, I could see like SRS totems, but the same thing is like, if you have to summon 5 or 4 totems for SRS to do something for a pack, you got a problem. On a boss, however, awesome stuff like Atziri Farmers, sure, I get it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I guess I like even going back on my own word, thinking about it now, like. You are still taking a 10% less damage buff on your regular single totem you're putting up, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So just putting up one totem reduces your damage by 10%.
While using spell totems sometimes or range attack totem already has a huge multiplier.
It would be nice if it kicked in on the 2nd or 3rd or 4th totem. Like it'd be nice if your first totem didn't have a damage debuff. So if it was like all totems after the 2nd or something, or all totems after the 1st started your damage debuffing. If the first totem did full damage, would be really nice, but instead now your first totem is doing 90% damage.
If you had a magic find Hierophant, and you get Conduit, then you can conduit your power and endurance charges by magic finding with Calling Strike over to your team. And then you could gain auras even though you're a magic finder by using generosity totems.
I mean, I think the cool thing is if you're dropping 2 totems, you can still deal damage yourself too. So you can play a self-cast build with 2 totems.
Yeah, it does. That's definitely the point. I think. Thinking about it now, I don't really see this being worth it for most actual totem builds, like Ancestral Bond builds, I should say. But this allows you to get better totem support with non-totem builds. So yeah, I think you might be right there. Maybe it's meant more for non-Ancestral Bond builds. And Pohx. I'm just moving on from what Pohx said.
Yeah, Pohx, not trying to ignore you, but ignoring you.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Well, at least he's not talking about Roas and drop bears. We'll give him that.
It totally could work. I mean,
Drop
it's just magic finding. I don't need to say that anymore. They're in the game now. I said it enough on the podcast. They finally ended up coming, right?
Mm-hmm. So. Let's talk about Divine Guidance real quick. We got 100 max mana, which is a ton, and 10% of damage taken as mana before life. So this is additive with Mind Over Matter, or if you're not going Mind Over Matter, it's still pretty useful. And then we have Sanctuary of Thought, which is gain 12% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield. So what are your thoughts behind Sanctuary of Thought? Because I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Divine Guidance is. It's just we've played Mind Over Matter long enough. We don't really need to talk about it.
I mean, that's a lot of extra energy shield.
You think
that's
so?
A lot of extra energy shield. But here's the thing, though. The Mind Over Matter doesn't work on the ES, right? So now it leads me to say, okay, so maybe this is for my edgy Chaos Resist low life builds using Mind Over Matter, but
that or EB, Eldritch Battery.
I think it's gonna go with EB. I think this is like a super defensive option. Like, say you want to run a defensive character, you could go Divine Guidance into Sanctuary of Thought. You get 10% damage taken from mana. You're utilizing Mind Over Matter, so that's what, 40% now. Then you get additional, because you're scaling mana, you're playing a hybrid character, right? So 12% of the maximum mana. It's not the biggest chunk, but it's like maybe like a low end chess piece for ES 300.
I mean,
ES.
if you get a little bit of if you have a chess piece that happens to roll mana on it, or a piece of gear that happens to get mana on it, sure, so be it. But you're not actively going to get it.
No, right. You're not seeking it, but because you're Mind Over Matter, you're gonna have at least 2K, 3K plus mana. Not all of it's gonna go there, but it's just free ES, and then you just go Conviction of Power, and you get free power charge generation. So it's like it's an option.
Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. Like, Divine Guidance, I think, is really good. Sanctuary of Thought, I think, is very specific. Yeah, niche. Overall, this class, what are you guys' thoughts on it? I'm, like, pretty meh about it. I think it's good, but...
It's a shame that this class is pretty meh overall, because I really like Illuminated Devotion, but the other stuff is pretty meh. I agree.
Yeah. Illuminated Devotion, Conviction of Power, Divine Guidance, like... They're good, they're situational, but there's so many more overpowered classes, in my opinion.
Here's a question for you guys. What would be your 6 points? I feel like my 6 points here would be Illuminated Devotion, Conviction of Power, and Divine Guidance. Because
those would be mine
although
too.
Divine Guidance and Sanctuary of Thought is kind of weird together, Divine Guidance by itself is really nice. So that's my 3.
Conviction
that's
of
my 6
Power
points
can't work with totems. Well, it can work with Ritual of Awakening, but you would have to get the tail with the totems.
I'm just
clip your
ignoring
kill.
totems with this
build. Exactly. I think you would get more damage as an Elementalist totem build or an Assassin. Like, oh yeah, power charges give you insane stuff. Okay.
It's definitely not one of the strongest, but this kind of feels like balanced in the current game, whereas most of the other Ascendancy classes feel like crazy strong.
You don't need like it depends on how far you want into the game. Like as of right now, no one really needs damage. Like cut the damage in half. Bladefall's still gonna be like, okay, what happened?
Yeah, nothing. Exactly. Let's go to the next one, which is my favorite class of them all, and I like the Raider. Now here it is. It's the Occultist. This class is so freaking crazy. So crazy. Like, every single one of these nodes is bonkers.
I will agree with that. Yep. I think they're all insane, actually. And there's multiple different interesting build types you can play with this too, which is good.
There's so much build viability and creativity that can be played with this class.
And new builds too. New builds come out of this, which is good.
So Forbidden Power is pretty generic. We'll just knock this one out of the park right now. So unlike the Hierophant, this one is 10% chance to gain a power charge on crit strike rather than kill. So it's already a crap load better. And +1 max power charge. So no weird endurance charge gimmicks. So you get an additional one and it's on crit, not kill. So for 2 points, you're getting way more bang for your buck than the Hierophant got. Considering they're both int, but Occultist being the pure int class, sure. We can let that slide.
Do we know what any of these minor nodes are? I don't think we do we?
No, I don't think so. They didn't show them on the...
No, but they look so cool. I want it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the one before Forbidden Power is, right? Looks kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Let's go into Malediction. So we get +1 curse. All right. Pretty cool. +1 curse. If they didn't have anything else with this, people would still get it.
Yeah.
Like +1 curse is insane. You don't have to use a crappy unique that's like 10% move speed, wind screams, or a ring slot, or hoping for a corruption, or 5 points on the skill tree. This is nuts. So good. All right. When you kill an enemy, for each curse on that enemy, gain 4% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage. So you're going to have 2 curses at a minimum, right? So you're getting 8% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage. So Pohx, you're playing a Bladefall Poison Trapper. Would you like to explain to me what Malediction would do for that?
Alright, so basically, with Malediction, enemies can have 1 additional curse. So that's already giving you a free dual curse. With Blasphemy, that's a free aura, basically, for 35%. So pretty much every single character that you play from a witch has the ability to run Enfeeble Temp Chains, so you don't die. When you kill an enemy, for each curse that's on that enemy, gain 4% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage. In a pack, you have, we'll say, 8 monsters, even though if you're running high-end maps, it's like 25 because of the pack size on the maps. If you're running...
Do you think this stacks, though? Like, that's where you're headed, right?
Yeah.
When you kill an enemy, for each curse on that enemy, you gain 4%.
Well, I feel like it's only, like, you get 8% for that 4 seconds if you've killed an enemy with 2 curses.
You don't think you don't think they sack? You think it's just 8%?
I don't think it stacks per mob. The wording of this seems to me that it's the stacking is based on the curses.
Right. Well, we can wait 20 seconds to see the
12%, depending on how many curses you've got. Extra chaos damage.
Even then, if you have 3 curses, it's still 12%. That's still a nice buff.
That's a
It's not bad.
of damage.
Adding on to the fact that you can have one additional curse.
All right, hold on. Before chat starts spamming paragraphs,
Can we get a
confirmation here? Anyone got a mark post before we put a foot in our mouth?
Is there confirmation either way?
Please, chat. If it doesn't stack, it's still OP. If it stacks, it's hella OP. Okay, done.
Yeah. Either way, it's very good.
You get +1 curse with something awesome. So it just buffs the already chaos meta. We have Profane Bloom.
I think we should go back to Profane Bloom actually. At how
Cursed-
OP this is.
Cursed enemies you kill explode, dealing 10% of their life as chaos damage. Enemies you curse take 10% increased damage. So first thing, take increased damage is a multiplier.
Yep.
That is a multiplier. Secondly, you're getting better than a war cry as damage. You can use a war cry with it, and there's a new wand coming out that when you kill enemies, they deal 10% of their health as explosion damage. So you can realistically deal 20% of your chaos damage with Frenzy Charge scaling and chaos scaling, void manipulation, all that craziness, to make a build just around Profane Bloom.
Yeah, with your blasphemies, you're getting a free abyssal cry up all the time. Pretty sexy.
It's nuts.
Furthermore, explode. They don't have a corpse. No detonate dead.
No detonate dead, no more annoying
random-
necromancers.
Boom, Vol detonate dead. Just you're a walking, like you just kill everything
No
around.
quill beast spike things
No.
killing you.
Nope.
Very good.
Exactly. Yeah. No thorns either. No shooty reflect thorns, whatever they're called. Like that's so insane. A build that just literally I don't know what word to use to describe it.
And this like curse plus chaos thing as well is kind of a cool combination. Like, and if you even divide these things out, enemies you curse take 10% increased damage. Okay, so let's say you try quad cursing, that's 40% more damage. And then malediction, you're getting the additional curse. Those two things by themselves are good enough to take on just a curse build.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can also make a curse chaos build, which is a different kind of new build. Like there's a new build here that doesn't really exist in the game right now.
Yeah.
So
No more.
like a curse stacking chaos build.
You could just pick this up so you don't have to deal with porcupines or crabs ever again.
You could go support. You could go quad curse support. Profane Bloom makes them take 40% more damage. You get an additional curse. Wicked Ward makes you have ES, so you go low life and you're tanky still.
Mhm.
Now you have sustain. Now you have sustain as a support because you get hit and you're still ES recharging.
It's nuts too because it's like we're only halfway through this and like bonkers. Like even Forbidden Power, the most lackluster of them all, is nuts.
Oh yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, it's
my
only
bad.
10%?
Enemies, enemies you curse doesn't stack. My bad.
Oh, I didn't
so
actually
they take 10% more. You can't get it up to 40.
You can't get it up. Yeah,
That's
it's
still-
only
alright,
10%
Still still pretty good. But yeah.
I mean, a multiplier is a multiplier, especially for a 2-point. It's nuts.
Yeah. My bad. So let's move into Wicked Ward and Vile Bastion then, because these are nuts too.
Okay, so let's go into Void Beacon first. So this is the only form, at least I know of chaos reduction in the game. And nearby enemies have reduced life regen, whatever. But the chaos resistance, like what? Isn't that like the average chaos resistance on a boss?
Like the only piece. That's the only flavor stat on this entire class, though. So I'll take it.
What? I think that's crazy. Minus 20 chaos res?
25% reduced life.
Oh, yo, that is junk. But the chaos res
that's
is
the flavor
nuts.
stat. But the chaos res is very good. Yeah,
I
it's the only
mean-
way of getting reduced chaos res.
Do you guys
If you're playing
remember?
the Cursed Chaos build, then you've got your 6 points there. Like the other thing about this class is there's no real decisions. Like I feel like most of the time you're going to be taking Malediction, Profane, and Void Beacon, or Forbidden Power, Wicked Ward, Vile Bastion. Like you're going to be taking either of those 6. I feel most of the time.
No, I would take Profane Bloom with Wicked Ward and Vile Bastion too, because curses it's a multiplier and you don't have to deal with corpses.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
So I would still take those. ES builds can run Blasphemy. I'm running Warlord's Mark Blasphemy right now.
But if you're playing the Cursed Chaos, you're going to take Void Beacon. Like not take that 20% chaos. And we don't know what that little minor node is as well, but it could be another like reduced chaos resist or something.
If it is,
it could be something to do with chaos. It kind of looks like it. Maybe, I don't know.
So I want like Vile Bastion and Wicked Ward. I want to talk about how absolutely overpowered these are. Please don't nerf them, GGG. I want to have fun for 3 months. These are so crazy. Wicked Ward, 100 flat, yes. It's not as much as Trickster's 150, but still, whatever. I'm going to complain. Because what follows this is nuts. 30% increased energy shield recharge rate. So this is how much it comes back. How much
You
it
can
comes
get about
back.
90 with combining this with the tree nodes, by the
Yeah.
way.
And then energy shield recharge is not interrupted by damage if recharge began in the past 4 seconds. So if you can get your cooldown down, which you generally speaking you're going to pick up naturally, you know, or you get Essence Surge. Generally speaking, it's 3 seconds of not taking damage. You'll start to recharge your ES. A Vow Discipline will also count towards that. Or you're playing there's Soul Strike Quiver. There's a bunch of different ways. Essence
This
Surge.
is Val Discipline.
It is Vow Discipline.
Apart from the added, so this is basically the effect of Val Discipline that you keep recharging.
Once it starts recharging for 4 seconds, it won't stop. So like if you take like a hybrid build and you lose 2,000 ES, it's going to come right back. It's nuts. So good. And then 100 flat ES is nothing to laugh at. We don't know what these minor nodes are before it. Are they going to be ES percent nodes? Like what are they going to be? And then Vile Bastion is... Immunity stun while at full ES. Okay, that's just like a little added benefit. Stun's a pain in the butt. But if you're wearing Skyforth...
I don't know about that being an added benefit with Wicked Ward's other effects and Vile Bastion's other effects. You're nearly always going to be on full ES with this build.
That's a good point.
You basically have stun immunity with this build.
That's a very good point.
I don't know about that. Does that actually work? Like, if you just get Zealot's Oath, does that mean Wicked's Ward is on all the time? It's the I think it's the base.
No, it's recharge and regen are different things.
Yeah,
this is
that's
recharge.
right.
They're different. Vile Bastion gets 1% ES regeneration. Now, you remember I was talking about reading earlier? This is the important thing. Energy shield regeneration is not the same as life regeneration. And you get 1% for each enemy you've killed in the past 4 seconds. So you could kill like 20 monsters easily in 4 seconds. Easily. Even in 1 second you could kill 20 monsters. You little beetle pack. You're done, you know. That's a lot of energy shield you're just recharging right away. On top of Val Pack, on top of Wicked Ward. It's just so much regeneration. And the biggest thing is Skyforth and Val Pact both say you cannot life regenerate. Doesn't say anything about energy shield regeneration. So Vile Bastion will work with both Skyforth and Val Pact. Makes it nuts.
Here's the thing about these two that they're so very crazy because Vile Bastion is going to give you your full. It's going to keep your ES full whenever you're clearing. As you're going to have 20-25% regen all the time with this. On your ES. So you're going to be nearly always full ES. So you have that stun immunity all the time when clearing. And then when it comes to the actual boss fight, you have that recharge rate kicking in. So the Vile Bastion wears off for the boss fight, but then you have the recharge coverage. They cover each other's weaknesses. One's for clearing, one's for the boss fight. And then with that, that 90% recharge rate that you've gotten from the tree, the reduced recharge timer, you stop taking damage for 3 seconds, and then you gain 4 seconds of basically being able to face tank. So you run away for 3 seconds, gain 4 seconds of face tanking.
The build I'm playing right now has 52k DPS on my Bladefall, which is a lot. And I have 18k ES, and I already feel immune to death. Like, with these two, like, not only am I getting higher flight ES, I don't know what the minor nodes are. I'm just never going to die. I just don't understand. I don't know. This is nuts. Like, CI has been kind of back this league, but it's definitely back next league. You can even play, like, a melee build and not have to use Life Leech anymore because of these two. A melee CI will be completely viable again.
So, Vile Bastion, Wicked Ward, and Forbidden Power, CI crit builds. Pretty freaking insane. Pretty freaking insane.
I like it, man. I love Wicked Ward. I think it fits a lot of the I guess the things that kill people is the unexpected of what hits you. A Roa charges you, you get stunned, another Roa charges, you still have it going. So the spike damage is what it prevents.
This has got to be the top CI Ascendancy class, right? Like, I can't remember many of the other ones being nearly as close as this. Like, you can't really, I don't think you can really call like a top Ascendancy class. Like, what is the strongest Ascendancy class? Because they kind of do different things. Like, obviously, like the Shadow one's the most insane for crit, and this is the most insane for CI. But this is definitely one of the strongest, I think.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It makes Shav's Ring kind of useless if you're playing an Occultist. But Shav's Ring isn't something that people use anyways. Like, this is by far, I think, the strongest class that Witch has to offer. Nuts. Let's move on. Let's go on to the Pathfinder, which is also arguably, in my opinion, one of the most overpowered classes in the game. So, first things first, this whole class is based around flasks, which is pretty cool because I don't think anybody assumed a flask class, or not too many people did at all. So when we read this, it was like, whoa. The first thing I want to talk about with Pathfinder is this class offers a bunch of new unique ways to make unique flasks even better. The downside to unique flasks is they don't have surgeons. And even with the nerf to surgeons, it's still quite good. And we have Master Surgeon. What is it? 20% chance for flasks to gain a charge when you deal a critical strike. That works for unique flasks. And 30% increased life recovery from flasks. Remove bleeding on flask use. Like, all three of those are bonkers.
So this flask charge on critical strike works for unique flasks.
Yeah.
And it allows you to have other prefixes. You get surgeons on everything. And you can have your other prefixes or unique flasks.
Nuts. You can run additional charges, charge recovery. You can go charge recovery with surgeons now. On a non-unique flask, which is pretty dumb.
And free bleed removal on every flask too.
Yeah, you never have to roll staunching again.
I can't. Oh my god, it's so good. Just this one node. It's kind of worth taking this class for.
Like what?
It's so good.
And then Nature's Adrenaline, which there's a flask currently in the game. There's like a Quicksilver flask that removes all your frenzy charges and gives you onslaught. And this pretty much gives you that in 2 points, and you're never ever going to use that flask ever.
Flask. You guys know what we're talking about? It's a Quicksilver that I think it's a one-time use. It removes all your frenzy charges, but gives you onslaught based off it's 1 second per frenzy charge you lose. But it's like frenzy charges give you attack speed and they give you more damage, but you're losing all the damage to gain the movement speed and attack speed. I don't know. It's a very interesting flask.
Yeah, some people in chat pointed out that Master Surgeon isn't bleed immunity. You don't gain a bleed immunity duration. It just removes the bleed. But with this, you should be able to spam your flasks enough that most builds it should work, but some things you will still need to roll staunching. Like Agix in chat says, for like a Blade Vortex build where Corrupting Blood is a very real concern, you would still need bleed immunity. So it doesn't completely remove the point of bleed immunity in the game. It's just very good for a lot of builds.
You think about there's reduced flask used. You can get all the flask nodes on the tree now. You're going to want to, and it's like you could just spam your keyboard of flasks. You know what I mean? Your 1 through 5 piano style, and you could. It's nuts. It's just nuts. You're always gonna be able to remove that bleed, unless there's those extreme situations. Incinerate, Blade Vortex, but that's very situational.
Apparently, these minor nodes are flask effect as well, which is insanely good. So even better on top of that. Nature's
Adrenaline is really good. It is attack speed. It's not cast speed. Wah wah. But it's still pretty nuts. Movement speed. So Quicksilvers are good, but you can arguably drop a Quicksilver now because of Nature's Adrenaline. It's up to you. I don't know. Whirling Blades anyways, right? Nature's Boon. 5% reduced elemental damage taken. This is pretty good. This is a multiplier, and flask gain a charge every 3 seconds. How do you guys feel about this one?
I think it's insane.
You reckon?
Well,
I think it's okay.
See, this is the story of different play styles. So I saw a lot of Victor kills, and for every person you have in a party, is one less portal you're doing. So basically, every portal is worth 10 to 15 chaos for a Victor kill, and basically being able to regenerate your flasks on long boss fights, such as things like that, is cool.
Yeah, but you have to wait a minute
in that circumstance. Yeah, I guess for non-crit builds circumstance.
There is that, but think about it like this: the mana flask I'm using consumes 4 charges.
Your mana flask, right?
Well, yeah, but if you're sustaining, that's one of your main ones. Hollows don't take that much. You can go hide in a corner. I'm just saying,
every
it's an
12
option.
seconds you gain another mana flask charge. I don't know.
It was a 6-player fight. It took 30 minutes, so that would have helped.
Yeah, in that circumstance,
right.
That's not very common, right?
But you got to look at it from the boss killing perspective of Path of Exile. There's different elements in the game than just grinding to 100. So
true. It's got its use. I'm not.
You ever have time?
I think we're stretching for this.
You ever have time? No.
I'm glad that it's got a reduced elemental damage taken on it.
There we go. Hey.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know. I think it's good. There's always times where you have a resist flasks and you tap it, and you always wish you had a little bit more. And during a split phase of Adziri or something, you could easily regen back a charge of your flasks. So I like it. I like it.
It'll be great for me because sometimes I just stand around for a minute talking to chat before I continue with the map. So my flasks will be full when I do that.
AFK build, yeah.
I like it. I like it for bosses.
Let's go with Master Alchemist. 30% increased elemental damage taken, so obviously they're making this more elemental. Dispels elemental status ailments on flask use. Now, if you're choosing a Master Alchemist, you're not getting Master Surgeon. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see a lot of Master Alchemists because of that reason, because just Master Surgeon is just that strong. And 50% chance to avoid status elements while using a flask. This seems pretty meh to me, honestly. Like, both of these, I'm like, whatever. I'm going Master Surgeon.
Yeah, they're both really just okay, aren't they? Nowhere near as good as compared to the other ones.
And then we have Master Fletcher. Gain 10% of physical damage extra as a random element. Damage penetrates 10% elemental resistances. This is freaking bonkers.
Yeah,
so
very good.
Awesome 2-pointer. Probably usually going to get it. And then Master Herbalist. 30% increased damage with poison. 30% increased poison duration. 30 chaos res when using a flask. Awesome. Always poison on hit while a flask is up.
Free poison. And good poison duration, poison damage. Very good node.
I could see Master Herbalist or Master Fletcher paired up with Master Surgeon in this build, depending on
that's pretty
what
much
you're
what's
doing.
going to be. I think that's going to be a 6-pointer.
All right.
I don't. Go ahead, Pohx.
I got this. For Nature's Boon.
Here we go.
Okay. There are Zana maps now which don't allow you to leave the map. You can't portal out. So therefore,
Please,
if you run
Pohx.
on a flat, and hey, this can
Yeah.
happen to any class. I'm telling you, man. Nature's Boon is gonna
You're
happen.
the guy that talks about clear speed. If you have clear speed, you're never going to need that node.
Hey, dude, not every build is made for single target and AoE. A lot of
Hey.
clear speed builds have poopy poop single targets.
I mean, that's a poopy poop node compared to the other 4.
No, dude, Nature's Boon is a good node, man.
I mean, sure.
Labyrinth. You can't leave Labyrinth.
Please, Pohx. Could you go back to the rows and the drop pairs?
Oh my god.
I think Master Alchemist and Nature's Boon is not even going to, like, they're just going to be grayed out because no one's going to pick them up.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
my
I'll
trap
have
wouldn't need
GG will have
Master
heat
Surgeon.
maps of them and they'll be blue.
Yeah. That's going to be like, hey, how do you make a respec point? I made a boo-boo. All right. I could even see some people going Master Surgeon then picking up 2 Flask Effect nodes. I can even see that happening.
I was just about to say that actually. Like
Wow.
you just get the flask effect nodes before
Yeah.
Master Fletcher and Herbalist.
Like,
If
screw
those
it.
aren't relevant for your build, but you want the OBO flask stuff, like if they're flask effect nodes, those 2 ones before Fletcher and Herbalist, then yeah, I can see people doing that.
Well, there's 3 different icons here. Like, underneath
Yeah,
Master
that's-
Fletcher and Nature's Boon, there's a specific one. And then on your way to Master Surgeon, those are the same. And then one under Master Herbalist. So they have 3 different pictures. So they could be 3 different. I don't even know what they are.
They'll
Sure,
be
it's on the
fast
website.
They could be like increased fast charges gain. They could be reduced fast charges used. Increased fast duration. Like they could
Effectiveness.
still be very good things. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the last class here before Pohx starts telling us another theory about Nature's Boon.
I mean, I can think of one if you want me to.
No, please. Please.
Haters gonna hate.
Oh, they're all the same. All right, let's see. Trickster is the last one. Trickster. This guy's
Apparently they are
Hedgemaster
flask
here.
effect nodes. They all 5% effect. Yeah, I could definitely see picking them up.
That very well could be worth it.
GG.
All right, so this is, as they call it, Steve, or the Jack of all trades. This is what Rory was hinting at last podcast, and we finally have it.
Yeah,
So,
this is-
What are your overall thoughts about this class, Ziggy?
I am trying to find him so I can do a refresher here. Alright. You do a run through first.
Okay, all right. So we got Swift Killer, which is 10% chance to gain a Frenzy Charge on kill, +1 max Frenzy Charge. So this is the second class to get +1 Frenzy Charges, I believe. Duelist didn't get it. Raider did as well. So there's potentially 2 classes that can have 11 Frenzy Charges now. Awesome stuff. We have Walk the Aether? A-E-T? I don't
Aether.
know.
Walk the
Aether? Sure. Movement skills cost no mana. So people are thinking Whirling Blades, Lightning Warp, and all that cool stuff. I'm thinking Flicker Strike, Cyclone, and all those
Yeah,
movement
Swift Killer
spells.
plus Walk the Aether. That's a Flicker Strike build right there.
Flicker, Cyclone, Flame Dash. I'm sure you
And you
can
have
think of other
yep,
ones.
20% permanent attack speed bonus from the secondary effect of Walk the Aether too.
As if you needed more attack speed on your Flicker Strike, here it is. Pretty crazy.
That's pretty nice pairing of nodes right there.
Considering Flicker and Cyclone already have pretty beastly mana costs, even with the change, you do have
shit, yeah,
Poacher's Mark.
Cyclone's a movement skill too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Get the movement speed.
Shade Form. Now this thing is like, what the hell? plus 500 flat evasion, plus 250 flat. Yes, 250. I thought it was 150.
I love it.
20% increase attack and cast speed if your energy shield recharge has started in the past 4 seconds. So a little bit of a steroid boost if your energy shield's recharging. And 20% more chance to evade attacks while not on full energy shield. What the hell is that?
That's really good. Actually, quick question
Yep.
for warding here. If you have 0 energy shield, do you never get the bonus, or do you always get the bonus?
While not on full energy shield. If you have 0 energy shield, you're technically at full.
0 out of 0,
0
you're
0 is
full.
1. Just like blood magic 0 0 is full.
Okay, I was just curious.
So, if you're using an EB build, then you're always going to have your ES not full, right? As you're casting spells or using abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're always getting that 20% chance to evade.
The question I have about this node is, if it's 20% more chance to evade attacks when you're not at full ES, will that actually show up on your tooltip? Will that actually give you a multiplier to your evasion?
Yeah,
on
I
your
don't really
character
have
sheet?
Is it like, that's what I'm wondering. Is it a bit like endurance charges on armor, where it just adds a flat full, like 20%? Or is it like a 20% multiplier of your existing evasion?
Because if
20%
it
more chance
is,
to evade.
Queen of the Forest in Dreamfeather would be pretty nuts. If it actually multiplies your character sheet evasion...
Well, I don't think it will modify your flat evasion. I think it will modify your chance to evade.
okay.
So what is calculated based on
I
flat
see.
evasion. But I don't know if it's going to be a 20% added or 20% multiplier of the exist. So if you have the 50%, it modifies 20% of that, 20% more on that. Yeah.
And yeah, let's say you have that belt with the terrible 1 flat ES, or the ring with the 1 flat ES. You pop Blood Rage, you're never going to be at full ES, guys. Have fun with that. Pretty nuts.
Well, I mean, you don't need the ring. You've already got 250 ES on the node.
Oh yeah, just get the node. Good call. You don't even need it. I'm really dumb. I'm really dumb, guys.
I asked that question.
I love it though because I love evasion energy shield builds. The combo I think is a very strong combo. I've made a few builds recently with that. I feel like it's a very, very strong combo. Hard to pull off, but very nice. And this node makes it a lot better. And the good thing about evasion energy shield builds is that you hit occasionally, it goes to your ES pool, but then because you're evading a lot of the attacks evading, then there's a chance for that regen to start. So you're going to be getting that 20% attack speed and cast speed pretty often as well, because your recharge will be starting most of the time thanks to evading attacks. It's like there's some really nice synergy between those things there, between the mechanics.
Yeah, very true. It's kind of crazy. I think like all 3 shadow classes are just bonkers. Just like all 3 duelists, they're just so strong. It's kind of nice because the hybrid class has been pretty meh for a while. Rip Templar. Feels bad.
So Ghost Dance before hold on. Is it Ghost Dance?
Yep, Ghost
Is
Dance.
the one that links to Shade Form? Yeah, that's the one.
No, Shade Form's independent. It's oh wait, never mind. Shade Form is after Ghost Dance. It's Weave the Arcane. I'm thinking. Go ahead. Ghost Dance.
So 20% faster start of energy shield recharge, 5% chance to dodge attacks, 5% chance to dodge spells. So this is great, like flat extra dodge that you don't need to take acrobatics or phase acrobatics for, which means you don't lose your energy shield. 10% increased move speed while on full energy shield. So it's a pretty nice one along the way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's pretty damn nice, but it's nothing. I don't think there's anything crazy there.
Well, you can't really get a decent amount of dodge if you're playing an ES build normally because acrobatics. So it's like free avoidance is free avoidance.
Yeah, that's it. It's just another chance to avoid on top of your what's going to be very high evasion with this style of build.
Mm-hmm. So, and faster start to energy shield recharge is always nice too if you're actually playing CI or something. Let's look at Weave the Arcane. So this node, I think it's kind of bad, personally. 25% increased mana, 50% increased mana regeneration rate, and 5% chance to recover 10% of your maximum mana when you ever use a skill. Like, mana problems are one of those things where that's one of the first things you do on a character is solve them. I guess you could spec 2 points for that, but usually you can make up for that in gear and other gimmicks.
You won't use this on an effective build to deal with your mana problems. The only thing I say it's being useful for is Mind Over Mana.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that do we know exactly how cheap it is to respec this the Ascension, or sorry, the subclass?
It's pretty expensive from memory. They said it's Did they say like 5 regrets or something? Like,
Yeah, it's more than one regret. Well, that's all I know.
Yeah.
5, 10, 20.
It's multiple regrets, so it's not cheap.
Because I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of these promote like leveling. Like while you're still leveling, you should use this 2-pointer and then respec it to the 6 after. But if it's gonna be expensive, I don't know.
That's 10 regrets to respect 2 points. I don't think you're really gonna do that while leveling much.
So, Patient Reaper, let's talk about this guy. This is the last one we got here, is 30% increased damage over time. Okay, cool. You know, just a little bit of damage. 60% increased life, energy, shield, and mana recovery if you've killed an enemy affected by your damage over time in the past 4 seconds. This is specific to flasks, except energy shield. So life and mana recovery are usually tagged from flasks, as well as... I'm not sure if leech will also work for that. Maybe leech. Could be with leech as well. I'm not sure.
So life and mana recovery are only the flask healing, right? They're not. That doesn't include like life regeneration. It's not like a scalar of life regeneration, is it?
No. Energy shields, obviously, once your energy shield starts to recharge, that is considered ES recovery. And it's specific to damage over time. If you're playing a damage over time build, not sure you'd even be playing this class because Occultist exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of average, kind of real average.
Leech, regen, flask, everything. Oh, really? Recovery is everything, apparently.
It is everything? Okay, that's better then.
Then that's actually a pretty good node.
That's increasing your leech, yeah, that's good.
If it increases your
leech as well, then that's decent.
If it increases your life regeneration, Beanos too. Like, as if you needed more regeneration on your Beanos. Here it is. That is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I could see then... So let's say we're talking like a movement skill build, Swift Killer, Walk the Aether, and either Patient Reaper or Ghost Dance are both pretty good options then.
Yep. I can see the Oro Sacrifice guys now, you know, Patient Reaper, Walk the Aether, and Swift Killer, man. Yeah. All the Oros builds. You could say whatever you want. You know, it's like one of those items that's like always a joke item, but everybody in Path of Exile loves it, except for me, probably.
Zeno, you hipster.
It's not even, it's like, I don't know, you say Oro Sacrifice and everyone just puts their hands in the air, like, yeah!
What about Veil of the Night? You like Veil of the Night, Zeno?
Dan's game of the night.
You should do a challenge with it.
What are you guys' thoughts on Trickster overall? Like, the nodes that are good, I think, are insane. The weakest one of them all, I'd say, is Weave the Arcane.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's another unique one.
I feel like it's in the power-wise, it's kind of in the middle of the Ascendancy classes, but I really like it just because of Shade Form is my jam with that ES evasion combo. Sexy. But yeah, it's definitely going to be used. It's going to be used for movement skill builds, and then there'll be a few that you pick it up for the evasion and shield setups.
Righteous Fire.
I was gonna say all the Ascendancy classes that add a flat amount of something, I think are really cool, like flat evasion, flat ES, flat armor. Because there's so many ways to scale in the tree already. There's so many percentage values you go over, but you never really get flat ones unless you have gear. So
if Patient Reaper works with life regeneration, which according to people out there it does, because life recovery is everything, that means RF builds will be played as a Trickster.
It's weird to think of.
Yeah, well, you could go low life too now with it. Pretty bonkers.
Yeah, that could be really good with Rush Fire if it does work like that.
And you get 20% more chance to evade attacks while not at full ES, and with RF you're never going to be at full ES, so it's pretty interesting.
Okay, I haven't seen many evasion Righteous Fire builds, but
now you can. See, this is the creativity that these classes are bringing out. You're going to play an
I'm pretty sure this is ruining build diversity.
Yeah, this is ruining build diversity in an evasion-based RF Shadow.
Rip build diversity.
What the heck?
Maybe. Okay.
I mean, they have the new damage over time life regen nodes too.
Maybe.
Sprig Leaf. I mean, we got it going here. Sprig Leaf gives you life regeneration on low life, and then that's multiplied by 1.6, and then you have the 2% life regeneration, the damage over time. I'm just saying, man. All right. Anyways.
Sounds more edgy than my Magic Finder.
Are we Q&A now, or is that?
I think that's it. Yeah, we could go Q&A. Q&A for a little bit.
Okay, cool. If you guys would post your questions in chat, we have one to start off with. So please post your questions on. I'll copy them over. From Wayne Carr, we have... Can you write... wait. Would Vitality having flat reservation instead of percentage reservation make it less useless? What do you guys think?
I think the mechanics need to change of Vitality. Like, I don't know.
In what way would... I guess we can extend that question out. Well, what do you guys think is needed to fix Vitality or to make Vitality better?
I mean, I know this would be really silly, so I don't necessarily... Like, in the state of the game, they can't do it. But I think having something like whether Vitality gives you a proc chance... Maybe I'm just getting too Grim Dawn hype here.
No.
But, or like... I don't want to say flat health. Because everyone's going to use it if it's flat health. But, like, in the state of the game, percent regeneration doesn't really help a lot of characters because most people go off leech or just crazy max health, or now there's Beanos.
Vitality should be a multiplier to life regen. If they're introducing Patient Reaper, why not just make it a multiplier?
I guess you could. I think a percent multiplier would be better than what it is right now.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it might.
Did you say making Vitality like a health recovery multiplier?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea. That would open it up for a lot of more niche uses and will be good for leech builds, regen.
Like 1.2 to 1.4 multiplier, done.
Interesting.
But still, I think that could get like too out of hand, and then it would barely help out people. Like a lot of people still use Vitality on summoners, and I don't want them to ruin how Vitality works for summoners. So I just think that like it needs to be a new mechanic involved, rather than just scaling the health.
Someone in chat wants to know if you think what do you think about it increasing maximum life? That's certainly in line with the name Vitality, at least.
I like it. I'm scared at that point.
Well, it depends because with Mortal Conviction, Blood Magic, and if you get enough reduced mana, or if you're running Blood Magic with the new ring gives you a free aura. If you have Blood Magic, now you're getting just free life. So like it really depends. That like flat life would be too hard to balance IMO.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's go with the next question.
Next question is from Tiago MDG. Do you think they'll add some party required content? Because they are for sure promoting party play. So I guess he's referring to the Guardian class. But we recently learned that on this topic that the trials, dungeons, whatever. What are they called again?
Labyrinth?
Trials of Ascendancy?
Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth. Yeah, the Labyrinth can be done as a party. But we haven't seen any party required content though. I don't know if ZiggyD will ever do that. What do you guys think?
All I'm
No,
gonna say is, at Ziri, if you have 4 people in a room with that Ziri, I'm just trying to use an example, or like Malachi with multiple people, I mean, it gets kind of overwhelming. So I guess party content would be kind of interesting, but you already have like side areas, like vol areas. I think it would be cool, but I think in Path of Exile, the game is already driven to be kind of cutthroat, and like ninja looting does exist. You could put like permanent allocation, but I don't think they're gonna go into the terms of party play. I think it would be cool, but
yeah, I'm all for adding like new different types of content, but I really like where the party balance is at PoE at the moment. Like with a well organized, cohesive party, you can have a much stronger force than you can solo, but a bunch of random people getting together is typically weaker than soloing. So solo feels really strong, and like it makes more builds viable. But then there are some really interesting things you can do with parties. I kind of like that balance, and I don't know about like.
I think it would. If they made
online.
content that's party only, I think it'd be too gated, and there would be way too many complaints. I think you have to have the game be a solo game with the option to go party.
I think there are a lot of solo PoE players.
Yes, I'm one usually.
Pretty much exclusively solo. I think most streamers these days mostly play solo.
It's too much of a pain in the butt with all the AFK and stupid memes you're doing and YouTube videos. All right, let's go to the next question.
Okay, from Bobwat, do you guys think the game is going to become too easy and casual with all this OP Ascendancy classes, considering that a lot of the players already think that it's too easy right now?
What I think is, if maybe they should make maybe higher end maps even a little bit harder now, and make them drop more because we have all this OP stuff. Hey, just give us the dang maps. If we want to die in them, we can. Make them a little bit harder. That's cool. Keep the current state of the game the same. No more global damage buffs. And by all means, I don't want any like content to get too hard where it's like Diablo where you're just getting one shot. So no enraged timers, no random one shots. I do hope that they make the hardest content harder. They make it more accessible with this new OP stuff. What do you
More
think,
accessible, harder content. I like that.
Yep, harder content, more accessible.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree. What they did before, which I could definitely foresee them doing, is sometimes there are leagues where balance is an issue. Like right now, we feel like we're really strong, but back in Invasion, we felt really weak, for example. So like if this league is tuned, I think GG is really is usually pretty good at learning from their mistakes. Not always, but usually they're pretty good. You know, they take the statistics from the 3-month and they'll just apply it and fix it for the next one.
What do you got?
What do you, Bucket Orange says, what do you think the chances are we'll see massive tree overhauls for Ascendancy? Or I guess I can expand upon that question. What areas of the tree do you think should be or will be or overhauled in Ascendancy?
Shadow life.
We just got the shadow tree. I don't think they'll change the shadow area much. They just changed it.
They need life,
even though
man.
we're not like,
Honestly,
we're not like super happy with it.
There's go-to wheels that people always go to, and those are fine and dandy. There should be more options rather than mandatories. I feel like fencing. When was the last time someone went and got fencing? You know,
there's a lot of shitty wheels in between like Shadow and Ranger, especially that no one ever gets.
No, like all those weapon wheels in there, like
like what the hell are those wheels?
The movement speed, bow damage, like garbage. Master Fletcher.
Yeah, I'd like him to overhaul a lot of that stuff. A lot of those sort of like
I'm not
random
saying
clusters around that no one ever gets.
Not make it OP, but just make it so there's a little bit more choice.
Something different, like different interesting mechanics on them. Like they've added a lot of interesting mechanics to other clusters. I'd like to see those get the same treatment. I also suspect Scion might see some changes in Ascendancy too.
Maybe Revenge of the Hunted, you know, the only notable in the game that have the same amount of percent-based life as the rest of the wheel, the nodes around it. Maybe that can have a little bit more, you know? Just saying. It's the only notable in the game in a life wheel that gives the same amount of life as the ones around it.
Ripperinies.
It's garbage. And you got to spend an extra dex point just to get it. Yeah! What else do we got here? Oh, someone earlier asked, what's your least favorite Ascendancy class thus far?
What is my least favorite Ascendancy?
Mine is the Hierophant, honestly. I think it's got more lackluster than it does positives. Like, more situational type things.
I might be with you on that one. Let me have a quick look over the other ones. I like something about almost every other class except that one, so I think you're right, man. I think Hierophant's is the butt now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a least favorite, Pohx?
Mine is probably the Assassin.
Okay, that's
Kappa.
Are you Kappa? I was hoping you were kind of serious there.
No, I am. Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Good. I was hoping you are.
I don't like it. It's too. There's nothing new. Just damage. Like we already do so much damage. There's already builds that have 95% crit. Like sure, you can bring out new mechanics and like make an Iron Will build have crit, but like it's just crit. It's already been hyped. Crit has already had its hype. You know, like a while ago, and you know we had our legacy 70% crit or crit multiplier stuff. So it's like, I don't know. We've already been through this meta. I wanted to go.
The Assassin is pre-Nemesis crit multi, pretty much.
Yeah. I like your reasoning on that, Pohx. I like that you've taken the class that's all people are going to get and said that it's your least favorite. That's good, because I think we need more of that.
I think that's me in a nutshell, though, as being different.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, though. I think it is pretty boring, and just promoting something that's already very strong just even further.
I'm just happy they could play silly stuff. Those 5% crit uniques now could be higher than that. You know what I mean? Like, you could play a Dream Feather crit build and it won't suck. Pick Assassin. You know? I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Like, Assassin makes anything that doesn't do damage. And anything that does damage, like, okay, good luck. Have fun. It's a lazy class, honestly.
Yeah. How much time do we have left?
We've been over.
So,
you know,
okay.
So, Pohx... go ahead.
I guess we can finish out then. What's your favorite classes each then, if you have one?
probably... I want to say the Saboteur, but I'm really biased because I just wanted to see some trap love. So with the exception of Saboteur, probably what's the potion guy? Pathfinder. Probably definitely Pathfinder.
My favorite is Occultist. Occultist is insane for multiple scenarios. There's so many different things you could do with that class. It brings back ES melee builds too, and that's what I'm most excited about.
I have a soft spot for the projectile ranger one, Deadeye. Because I really like playing bow rangers, right? And it's just got a lot of nice like chain and pierce and stuff on it. But I do think it's pretty much Occultist or Pathfinder. Yeah, I'm probably leaning towards Pathfinder out of the two. No, actually, fuck it, Occultist. I'm with you on that one, Zeno. Occultist out of those two.
Yeah,
Pretty
Occultist
damn
is
good
amazing.
class.
That class was so well designed.
Strong
Not like,
and interesting. Strong
Yeah.
and interesting.
I like
Yeah.
that. Like Assassin's cool and all because it's OP, but it's just generic and boring. That's how I feel about Deadeye. I feel like it's just generic, like stuff
It
you
is
already
bit
get a
generic.
little bit more.
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna pick it as my favorite. Just have a soft spot for those things, but
Of
just
course,
because
you
I know
can
I'm gonna play a Deadeye Bow Ranger, right? Like whatever.
All right, so Pohx, where can we find you at? You know, you're our special guest.
You can find me streaming at twitch.tv/minik. I want to
Did
show
you
him,
sleep on you?
I want to show him right now, but I think my webcam is gonna break. Do you want me to try?
Yeah, go.
He's really okay. Hold on. Shh. Gotta be really silent with this guy.
Mini K is so cute.
No, he woke up. He woke up.
Oh, I wanna like after Pox's shoutouts. I know this is a faux pas, but I wanna ask you guys, what do you think Sion's gonna be? Oh my god, that cat.
What do I think? Oh, Rip, Pohx,
Rip
your
camera.
webcam.
Well,
What do I think the sign class is going to be?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's on the Path of Exile website right now.
No. You're lying.
No, serious. Let's talk about it. Let's pull this up.
a rip webcam.
Yeah, get there. We're
You're
gonna
lying.
talk about this right now, guys. Oh my god. I was right.
Oh
I was
my
right on
God,
what she
look
was
at
going to be.
Look at it.